Born of the dirt and a prayer to the sky. These are the values that money can't buy. My faith is my shield and my kin is my crown. You try to break us, we'll stand our ground. We're the thunder and the pouring rain, forged in the fire and hardened by pain. Yeah, few good men left standing. A few good men left standing.
Should we fucking get into it, Nate?
Sure.
Let's give the old fucking greeting here first.
Let's do it.
Ready? We're going to start her out.
Okay.
And we're back, guys.
And we're back. We are back. It's been a bit for us. We've taken a little bit of time off. Mostly my fault. I had some other stuff on the go. But here we are.
We got some new gear and stuff. We thought we already had saved the world, so we're like, we could probably dial back on the podcast, but she's gone to shit, guys.
We can take a break. We thought you guys had it in hand. Apparently you don't.
Yeah, we put it on cruise control for a bit, but that wasn't the ticket. No.
Yeah.
Shit's escalated in the past.
It has definitely.
Especially in the past month here, especially. It's gotten pretty wild.
It has.
It was pretty wild before we were doing podcast. Last time when we were doing them, we were still talking about the Russia and stuff over in fucking Ukraine. That was kind of a thing, talking about our elections and whatnot. But shit has escalated quite a bit here recently with the old Iranian craziness. And I was actually just reading a bunch of articles today, Nate. I don't know if you've seen this, but Canada was like offering refuge basically to all these Iranian officials and stuff.
Seriously?
Yeah, dude. At first I didn't even believe it.
Yeah.
I read like one thing on Facebook and I was like, nah, that ain't fucking true. Then I fucking Googled it and it's like, oh yeah, not only just now, this has been going on. Like there was a shit ton of articles from last year, 2025, saying a bunch of Iranian officials are moving here and stuff. And then just over the past week, man, it's been a whole bunch. They're like rats from Ukrainian's regime, offered safe harbor in Canada.
So we're like, let's just bring them here.
Yeah, right across the street from fucking old Trumpy, who's just gonna be like. He's going to love that. Fucking love that.
Yeah.
Like, unbelievable. I don't know. I was pretty shocked to read it, honestly. I was like... Because I even seen Carney made a statement when this first started saying that, like, Iran is bad.
Yeah.
Like, I was actually proud of that comment. I was expecting him to be, like, condemn the whole thing, right?
He supported Trump for going and fighting in Iran.
Yeah.
For attacking Iran.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they backed right the fuck off of it.
Oh, yeah. And then they... appears by all the articles I've read that they're offering safe haven to people coming over from that regime.
If they're doing that, that is insane on so many levels. I mean, just why would you bring the worst of the worst here? First question.
Yeah.
Second question, why would you bring the enemies of your next door neighbor into your house?
Exactly, man. It's so stupid, dude. And there was same thing today before the podcast here. I was doing a little checking out some research, and they had a big protest in Toronto there today. Where pro-Iranian, it got like completely crazy apparently, but they were all saying like chanting death to everybody, but saying this is the last war. They're like planning on fucking doing some terrorist attack. I don't know what's going on. That's just what you think when you hear it, right? But it's like, I'm all about free speech and shit, but when you're saying death to a country and you're in that country, or like death to the states and stuff when we're neighbors and stuff. That kind of speech, I don't know. I'm not a fan of. I don't like that at all, sure. Man. I don't think that should be allowed to. And honestly, in my opinion, if you're on the streets saying that, burning our flags, you're burning the United States flags, and you're in the States, those people should be shipped back to where they came from. Man.
Exactly.
That's my humble
100%
redneck opinion about that. I'm not a fan of that at all, man. That drives me insane.
Well, I think that's just. I don't even think that's a redneck opinion. I think that's a common sense opinion.
Well, I know, but yeah, most people. I would like to think that it is, Nate.
Would you let somebody into your house who keeps threatening to kill you?
Dude, okay, fucking sidebar with that. Did you see that Alberta wants to put a stand your ground law in place now? That if you come into somebody's house in Alberta, that they're allowed to kill you. Yeah. Right? If they see harm, they can do whatever they see fit. Right? If they can meet violence with violence. And I was watching this reporter question one of the officials that was giving the statement or whatever, right? And she's like, "So are you saying that if an intruder comes into your house unarmed, that you want the homeowners to kill that unarmed person?" And at first, the lady like backed off. Who was like the person doing answering the question. She got somebody else come up to the podium. She's like, "Can you answer that one?" And he comes up. He's like, "Okay, well, that's assuming the homeowner knows that this person is unarmed."
Yeah.
Like most of the time, somebody breaks into your house in the middle of the night, they're not going to be unarmed. They'll have a concealed weapon, a knife, they'll have something.
Yeah.
And they're planning on stealing something, probably. But you don't know that. They could be going in there to harm your family. And what are you supposed to do? Like, the questioning was so unbelievable, Nate. It was like, and I was happy to see, like, I looked at some comments later on, and they're like, how is this not common sense?
Right.
Like, if you break into somebody's house, if somebody broke into my house, I'm immediately fearing the absolute worst. I'm not thinking they're there to steal some baking powder out of the cupboard. You know what I mean? I'm thinking that they're coming there to hurt my family. Is what I'm thinking. So I'm gonna fucking do everything I can to stop that. You know what I mean?
100%.
And there should not be a fear in homeowners or anybody who's having somebody break into your area, especially like in the middle of the night. You're sleeping. What do you think they're doing something good?
No.
You know, what could they be doing? Do you think that people should give up their property?
No.
You know what I mean? Who
Nope.
cares what it is? That person knows if you break into somebody's house. There's a guy in Florida, a sheriff, who said this a while ago. He's like, I think it was Polk County they call it, or whatever.
Yeah.
He's like, you come in, you break into somebody's house in Polk County. He's like, lots of our citizens carry guns, and he's like, and I actually encourage them to use the guns on people who break in there.
Yeah.
Less paperwork for us.
Right?
I love that guy.
Yeah.
You know, it's like that should be an obvious thing. But you break into somebody's house, you could lose your life.
Yeah.
You know, and you probably will. You shouldn't. It shouldn't be a thing where the homeowner has to be like, I better consult the neighbors and call the police ahead of time. You can call the police, but you shouldn't need to be calling a lawyer.
Yeah.
To be in like, hey, like, you know, there's a guy downstairs right now. I don't know. What do you think I should do? Should I? Am I going to be in trouble if I do this? Am I going to be in trouble if I do that?
Yeah.
No.
No, you should just be able to take care of business.
And it all happens in a split second. Right? You're not going to have time to make all these decisions and shit. You don't know what's happening. All of a sudden, you're going to come around the corner and some guy's going to tackle you to the fucking ground. I'm thinking he's going to try and kill me. So I'm going to kill him. That's how it's going to be. Like, it's not going to be where you're going to be like, hold on. Sorry, sir. Let's quit wrestling first. What do you need out of the house? Can I give you something?
Yeah.
You know, like, no, that's not. It's so unrealistic what this reporter was even insinuating what a circumstance would be like, right?
Yeah.
And the funny part is that she probably lives in some fucking gated community. You know what I mean? Where they have like all these safety barriers in place and shit, right? And when you're in that situation, I don't care. What's that old saying? It's like there's no atheists in foxholes. Similar thing to that, where it's like there's no liberals when somebody breaks into your house. You're gonna be wishing that you had a gun. When somebody
100%.
comes there and they want to kill you, you're gonna be like, that was pretty stupid of me, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe I shouldn't have pushed for that. Just trying to be virtue signaling and trying to make me seem so much more morally right than these people. I can never imagine a circumstance ever in the world where I would take somebody's life. I can.
Yep.
Yeah, I can. You break into my house in the middle of the night trying to harm my family, man? Like, that's horrible. Horrible shit happens when that happens. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Horrible things happen. And I'm super happy to see that Alberta's actually stepping up and being like, yeah.
100%.
Yeah, that they have people's back and they're going to put this law through. And I watched another one today where they were calling it castle law. Like, are you telling me it's castle law there? Which I think is basically the same
Yeah,
thing.
that means you
we
get to
were
protect
talking
your
about.
home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they had to dance around it. And I was like, how is this not just common sense that people will understand that your life, and you're not going out to harm anybody, in my opinion, is if somebody is breaking into your house, you don't know their intentions, and it doesn't matter if they're there to steal something.
No.
That's your private space. If they're breaking in there, they're a threat to your life. I don't care what it is. I don't care what they're trying to take. They're a threat to your life. And you need to be able to act accordingly. Like, there should never be that question. It's crazy.
I've heard this liberal argument that, like, if you believe that you should be able to kill somebody who's breaking into your house, their argument is, do you mean that you believe that your stuff is worth more than another person's life? And my answer to that is, first, if you're breaking into my house, I automatically assume you're armed and you're going to try to kill me.
Yeah.
That is my automatic assumption.
Yeah, I don't even assume it's theft.
Right? Yeah, no, it's automatically you're after me or you're after one of my loved ones.
Yeah.
And second, I'm not the one who has decided that my stuff is worth more than your life. You are.
Exactly. Yeah, when that person broke in, they decided that whatever in my house they were going to take is worth more than their life.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
I
They
definitely agree
made
with
that decision.
Nobody else made
I'm
it.
just helping them along.
Exactly. Nobody was like, yeah, come break into my house and then I'll kill you.
Yeah.
No, they're like, you know what? It's a risky move. I might break into this guy's house to take some keys from his car or do whatever he's going to do. But there should be a thought in his head being like, but I might get shot.
Yeah.
There might be people in there, somebody who might just stand up to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they know that going in, that there's going to be somebody standing up to them in that house, and they go in anyways. So that's a decision they're making in their own mind, saying that they'd rather go in, steal your CD player, steal your whatever, instead of worrying about their own life, man. And that's pretty crazy, but that is what it is.
And you know what? This stuff happens all the time. Even people who are just breaking in to steal things, when you wake up and you catch them, they're going to try to put you down, right?
Yeah.
Their first assumption is if they've seen you, you've already called the cops, they need to hurt you and they need to get out.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
They need to make sure that you're scared enough of them that you're not going to point them out in a lineup or something.
Yeah.
And they're going to hurt you, right? People who are breaking into your house are not doing so because they absolutely need some food or something. They're not stealing food out of your fridge. They're stealing things to sell. Generally because they're on fucking drugs.
Yeah. The vast majority
Yeah.
are on some serious drugs, and they're out stealing shit.
Yeah, so they're already not making good decisions because they're on drugs.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah. Everybody's seen the guys out there with the fentanyl lean.
Right?
You know? They're just sitting over there.
Fucking standing there bent over with their arms out looking like zombies.
Yeah, looking
and
like a
shit.
zombie. You see a fucking walker coming into your house in the middle of the night? Come on. I don't think so.
Yeah, no, it's you're dealing with somebody who's already messed up in the head. And you know what? There are going to be those out there who will say, oh, that poor person never had a chance. That poor person wasn't given any opportunities. And you know what? I don't care. I really don't. First off, you don't get opportunities, you make opportunities. So if you grew up in a situation where you had a rough life, maybe bad parenting, maybe lived in a bad area, that is fine excuse until you're about 17, 18 years old, and then you're a fucking man and it's time to stand up and make some changes to make it better.
That's right.
If your choice is to go out and do drugs and break into people's houses, you deserve whatever the fuck you get.
That's right, man. You can't be a perpetual victim your entire life when you're 50 years old, blaming your parents, blaming, society, blaming everything. At some point, you got to take responsibility for your own actions and be like, hey, is this the right thing? Am I doing the right thing? Am I really doing everything I can to make sure my life doesn't end up in a pile of shit like it has been? Because a lot of people, that's what happens. They have this basically a pattern they go back to, right? Some people, what is it? It's like, I forget the term, but it's like they need to fail. It's like that's just so ingrained in them. When things start going good, they destroy their own life. Like,
the sabotage.
Self-sabotaging their own lives, right? And it's like, I know people like that.
Oh yeah.
And they have an argument that their life was pretty shitty when they were kids, when they were younger. They had a lot of bad stuff happen to them, and I feel for them too. But then there's people like, that's the same stories, and they're 50 and they're telling me, and it's like,
still talking about how rough their life is.
Yeah, you've let that ruin 50 years of your life. You're giving those people so much power over you, and all those situations that have happened to you so much power. And I think they just get comfortable in the cycle, right? Like they get comfortable. Some people get comfortable in jail, where it's like they come out of jail and they're like, I kind of want to be back in jail.
Yeah, 100%.
So they'll go do something again, and it's like they don't have that fear anymore. I was actually just reading an article today that also was this African American guy. He was here in Canada, but he killed somebody. It was in BC here, actually, somewhere. Killed this girl, young girl, and he got pretty crazy to begin with. Like, he murdered her, stabbed her to death.
Oh, that's right. He stabbed his girlfriend 15 times.
Yeah, and he only got 15 years.
Yeah.
Right? But then they re-looked at his case, and they knocked a bunch of years off because they said at some time in his past, he might have been marginalized as a black man, right?
I saw that.
Lowered. I don't want anybody's case getting lowered. I don't give a shit.
Nope.
If you're a white guy who's had a shitty life, if you're a black guy who's had a shitty life, you just shouldn't be out there stabbing people. That shouldn't even be negotiable. It should be like, that should be pretty straightforward. If you go out there killing people, you shouldn't be out on our streets. You shouldn't be able to say, yeah, well, we had a tough childhood. Okay, well, then what's going to stop them from doing this again when they get back out?
You're teaching them that it's okay to do it because they had a tough childhood.
Exactly, man.
You're reinforcing that. That's all they're doing.
Man.
Right?
And it's scary. And I'm sure there's more cases that we're not hearing about, right, of every race. That would just happen to be one that I read today where they're just saying that he was marginalized, so they dropped a bunch of years off his sentence. And it's like, man, how is that putting fear into people to not commit these kind of crimes?
Well, it's not.
Because that's what we need, is we need to be more tough on crime. And there's a lot of this stuff going around right now with all the stuff in the States with the ICE and all that craziness, right, too, where it's like liberals in general, like lately, like the new age liberals that I've seen too, is like they don't want most laws. They're like they have main character syndrome is what a lot of them have too, right? Where they all think they're the main character in some movie, and they can decide what laws to follow and what laws not to follow. And most of that comes, I think, from the mainstream media perpetuating all this stuff constantly, right? The division, but like when you break it down to the simplest things, like I've watched lots of these little clips where there'll be people walking through big protests where people are protesting ICE and stuff, right? Saying that how the ICE is so bad, and there'll be people like, as basically like a skit, but going in there playing off like it's real. They'll be like, hey, like I got these guys, they're illegal immigrants, they need a place to stay, and they'll go up to people in the street, be like, hey, you guys are here for this, this guy here, Eduardo, needs a room, he's an illegal immigrant, he's up here from Venezuela, he needs a room, thank God you guys are here, man, you guys are volunteering a room for him, can he have a room? And they're like, what? No. Right? And they're all of a sudden like just disgusted with the whole idea, right? And it's like, well, that's what you guys are saying. That's what you guys are protesting. You guys are protesting that that's okay. It's what you want. You want all these people to be able to come over here, and they don't have a place to stay. So what's going to happen? They can't get jobs. So they're going to do illegal shit. They're going to hurt people. It's like, that's pretty much how it happens, man. I'm sure there's a lot of good ones that come over here through, because they do have a crappy life over there, you know what I mean? But there is a process to go through, and then you can come over and do it properly, you know what I mean?
And that's the thing, right? I mean, you got to have a process. It's got to be done in a certain way. The way that it's happening right now by just allowing people to come into our country, especially here in Canada. I mean, Justin Trudeau basically welcomed everybody.
He doubled our population,
right? Yeah, it's unbelievable. Well, I don't know if you remember, but when Trump was back in the first time and he was building the wall and he was saying no more immigrants, Trudeau had a fucking press conference and he's like, America doesn't want you, but we'll take you. Come here.
I know.
Right? And they did.
They did.
And look what we're stuck with now, right?
Our housing crisis is insane. Food prices are insane.
Yeah.
And I see everybody in the States complaining about fuel prices. Try living here in Canada.
Oh, yeah.
You guys have no idea. If only, Nate, there was a way where Canada could refine its own resources and live off its own stuff. You know what I mean? If there was ever a better example of all the bullshit that how the liberals have kneecapped us on our natural resources. Yeah. This is it, man. It's like when another country makes crazy decisions like this, it's going to war. Not that it's crazy, not that it wasn't warranted. I'm just saying it affects the entire world, especially when it comes to fuel prices and stuff like that. Then our fuel prices are all going up and they're all freaking out about the fuel prices. It's like, if only there was a way we were more self-reliant.
Yeah.
Gosh darn.
Right.
Too bad we're such greenies now that are in control of everything, you know what I mean? Like, I'm a super environmentalist myself, but I also realize the value of natural resources and how important they are to the world in general, not just for the gas in our cars, but for everything that we've talked about in the past. So it's like the fact that right now, like we're paying here in Canada right now, today I think it just went up again, it was $1.55 a liter. So a gallon you'd be looking at what's that? It's like $4. Shit, we're gonna be paying they'd be paying $5 something a gallon up there.
Something like that.
Yeah, and they're right now down there. I think they're paying like $3.50, $4 a gallon, and they're like, "This is insane." Yeah, and it's like that's expensive down there for sure, because usually their fuel prices are way cheaper. Ours is way more here though. Yeah, like way more. So
and that's if
it would actually be like $6. It's $1.55. Yeah, two would be three liters. It'd be $6. $6 a gallon down there. Which is insane. It's nowhere near that. We're getting completely ripped off at the pumps.
Oh, 100%.
100%. And that's all. It all comes back to us kneecapping ourselves on resources and stuff. Like that's a big problem that we have here, man.
We've got the second or third largest oil reserves in the world, and we can't get it out of the ground.
It's just all the policies. Has there been any good policies that the left has put into place that's like bettered? Besides, I know it's important for people to worry about people's feelings, empathy. That's all that is important in life, man. Empathy is important, obviously. I'm empathetic to all kinds of causes and people, and I am. But it can't all be about empathy. No. There is bad people out there. There is shitty people that are looking to do bad things. There is people that are willing to take advantage of people during situations. There is people in government who do take advantage of things. Like, that's just... If you think that there's this utopia of people that are in our government who are only out for everybody's best interest, it's like, since when? Where are these people come from? I've never even met a person in real life that's ever acted like that. So it's like, looking at reality, what has the left done to better the country resource-wise, or to make us more of a prosperous place to live? I can't see a lot, man. They're not tough on crime.
No.
They're letting people out of jail all the time, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They're bringing people over, offering refuge to people that our biggest ally are at war with right now, and you're offering refuge to their people from their regime, okay? You've kneecapped of us all for our resources. You're not willing to build pipelines. You're not willing to get build any new things, basically. All you want to do is put another carbon tax on us, tax us more, make the housing market more, bring over. They've doubled our population in the past 15 years of the whole country. It's insane. We have 40-some million people that live here now. When I graduated high school 20 years ago, there was 25 million people. And we're almost at 50 million people. We've almost doubled our population. It's insane. It's unsustainable. And Alberta's realizing that. They're like, we need to cap immigration. You're coming to Alberta. They can't sustain it. And it's true. People who don't want to see that are idiots, man. They're blind. They're blind to reality, man. And it's all social. It's all like that social justice where they want to feel like they're doing the right thing. I can't see how it could be a bad thing.
As long as they don't have to give anything.
Exactly. Right? That's what I mean. It goes back to that guy who's bringing those immigrants over to their place. Like, okay, we need a place to stay. Yeah. Well, I could stay at my place. No way. You know? And that's what it comes down to. These people need a place to stay. We need houses. Housing here in where we live is insane. For a mobile home, for a trailer, that in most places should be under $100,000, you're paying $400,000 for a trailer. For a mobile home trailer, nothing special, not like brand new. It's insane. We were looking at buying one here recently. It was $300,000. It was built in the 70s.
Yeah. The
place is half condemned, and it was $300,000 almost now.
That's what. If you guys think we have it bad for what we pay for gas up here, all you Americans, our average house price here in a town of, what is there, 2,600 people here? Our average house price is somewhere around $450,000.
Yeah, it's crazy.
$450,000.
It's literally insane.
Yeah, you go to bigger cities like Calgary, Vancouver. Vancouver, $1 million gets you
a garden shed.
Yeah,
you can get a garden shed in Vancouver for $1 million.
Yeah, that needs renovation.
Yeah, that has no roof.
Yeah, in Calgary, you're just about as close. There's the average rent in our town of 2,600 people is something like, I think a 2-bedroom apartment, something like $1,700.
Oh yeah, for
a
sure.
month.
100%.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Right. I remember when I was in my 20s, I could get a 1-bedroom apartment for $350. Mm-hmm. You know.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And we have no housing. We've doubled, like Donnie said, we doubled the amount of people in this country. We didn't add any houses. Yeah, exactly. In fact, the Canadian government has made it harder to build houses. Yeah. They've made it cost more to build houses. They've made it harder to get permits. Nobody's building houses fresh because there's no money in it.
Yeah, that's the thing, man, too. And there is just so much uncertainty, dude. I was just watching this thing the other day, as if housing's not hard enough. We've talked about this in the past too, with native reserves and stuff like that, right? But there was some indigenous people that also in BC. It seems like a lot of this happens in BC too, where we live too. Our government's out of whack here, provincial government, but they're making all these people. They evicted all these people off in this mobile home park, trailer park, because it's on indigenous land.
Yeah.
So they just they kicked them all off and said, you guys are done. You can't live here anymore.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just insane, Nate. It's really insane. Seeing all those chiefs and stuff go into, they're all on side. They want Danielle Smith in Alberta to resign and stuff. It's it's so hypocritical. And I've seen some good comments where people are like, we need to open the books in these native reserves and see where all this money's going. We've been getting
100%.
So that was good. But also, I've even said to people on my feed, and we've talked about before, don't get it twisted. I love native culture. If I can go back, I've said this a million times, if I can go back to one time in history, it'd be to go see Jesus and probably to go see how the natives lived before we came here.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see. That's the way of life that I want to live. I want to be a nomadic hunter-gatherer guy who just goes and gets to roam the hillsides, hunt buffalo, be with your family all day. It's amazing. Their whole culture, living off the land, loving the world as it is so awesome. But at the same time, what the fuck has the government done for you? That you're so gung-ho to not have any changes. Like, Alberta's talking about being its own place, wanting to separate. And they're getting so much hate from all these people, right? Like, in those Indigenous chiefs, they all went to the capital in Edmonton and made this big spiel about how they all stand with her getting kicked out of office because she's following the law and letting this proceed as is, basically, right? But it's like, what has the government ever done for you? I love Native people. Tell me what good shit they've done for you. Because nothing, as far as I can tell. Your reserves are piles of dog shit. Okay? They are. And that's not all because of that's because of your chief's fault, mostly. Yeah. Right? Because you get a ton of money, but you guys don't delegate it. Not you guys. The chiefs don't delegate it properly so that the reserves end up falling into disrepair. And you guys have crappy lives. There's lots of reserves that don't even have running water or tap potable water that they can actually drink and stuff, right? And every election, they always pull that out as a talking point, like, oh, we're going to look after the native. And they never do. They never do anything. So it's like, so why are you guys so scared of that change? Do you think that Alberta wouldn't be in a better place to look after you better if Alberta was its own entity?
I think they'd be way better.
100% they'd be better, man. That Alberta would be the next Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Right? Saudi Arabia is the richest country on Earth. They have oil. Mm-hmm. We have oil. We have gas. We have lithium. We have nickel. We have coal. We have literally every resource in the world. We're like top 1, 2, 3 countries in the whole world with the amount of resources we have. Lumber, and how we're this dirt poor is insane. We GDP wise, our richest city and our richest province is lower than the United States' poorest state, which is Mississippi. Yeah. So that should tell you something too. It's disgusting. It's disgusting what we're doing to ourselves. And it's all self-imposed, man. It's all our own fault.
And I don't know if you heard about this. This just recently happened. So we got the whole world right now. The world's crying for oil. They're crying for natural gas. We have it. We have the ability to get it out to the rest of the world. Everybody wants it. They're willing to pay anything they can to get it. Mm-hmm. At this point, we lost 100,000 jobs in the last month in Canada.
Yeah, the highest it's been.
Yeah, the highest it's been since COVID.
Yeah,
we lost that in 1 month in a time when we should be producing.
Yeah, booming.
Yeah,
I know, it's crazy. Like, what needs to happen? Because I'm honestly, like, as much as I love Pierre and stuff too, man, I don't know.
I don't think
Pierre, I love you, but I don't think anybody. I don't know if he's the guy. I don't know if there is a way. Because you've seen recently that there was an MP out of Nunavut who just stepped across the floor to the Liberals as well. Did you look at like the 2 months prior at what happened? Like the Liberals basically bought her.
Yeah.
Right? They bought her to come over to the Liberal side. They just gave all this money to Nunavut over the past couple of months for all these initiatives and stuff, right? And then she went over the floor.
Basically to her riding, right?
Yeah, and people were asking, like, how did you do this? Like, why would you do this? Like, it was a complicated thing, a lot of issues, that's why I did it. They bought you. They bought you. And there's been 3 people who have went over there. 3 MPs over the past 2 months who have went over to the Liberal side. So they're going to have majority government again.
It's looking pretty close.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right there.
It's shocking, man. It is. Like, I don't think that there is any coming back from it, man.
I love Pierre too, but I said this, and I said this last election. I said, if Pierre doesn't get in this election, Canada's lost. Yeah. And I think that's where we're at.
I think so too, man.
I don't think Pierre can get in now.
No.
I don't think he can get the votes. I think that, especially Carney has got everybody fooled into thinking he's way more of a center politician than Justin Trudeau was. But Carney is whatever he needs to be in that second to get what he wants.
It's so funny they keep calling him so fiscally responsible too. Like, I was reading an article today, right? And I'm sure this article is completely BS. Yeah. Probably some CBC fucking nonsense, right? But they were talking about how he's the most respected leader in the entire world when it comes to management of money, because he's seen all these other countries through financial hardships, and it's like, that should tell you something. He was there when all the hardships happened. Yeah. Like, that should fucking tell you something too.
Who was it? His prime minister when he was the leader of the Bank of England. Mm-hmm. Somebody asked her, I think. I forget. But they asked her what what she thought of him as a prime minister, and she said, well, he wasn't a very good banker.
Yeah,
he
exactly.
bankrupted the country.
Yeah, 100%.
And I remember somebody else actually asked him when he was the leader of the Bank of Canada. They asked him for an opinion on immigration, and he said, if you're going to try to get political advice from a banker, you're barking up the wrong tree, basically, right? So even he knows that he's not qualified to do the job he's doing, but he's doing it now anyways.
Yeah, he's just putting on a show, man. That's the thing, man.
And you even just look at what he said about Iran. He came out and he said, I support Donald Trump in going into Iran. It needed to happen. Yeah. Then he came back and he said, well, it might have been illegal. Then he came back and he said, well, we might have to put some of our Canadian troops in there and fight against Iran. Then he came back now and he said, that's never going to happen. We're never going up against Iran. This war should have never happened.
Yeah.
And that's within 2-3 weeks.
Just flip-flopping.
Right, just flip-flopping like crazy. Whatever he needs to say, he will say different things to different people within the same couple days.
That's right.
Because that's what they want to hear. Mm-hmm. Right? He makes it sound really good. He can talk really well, but he's not a leader, and he is the leader of the Bank of Canada right now has already said that he's making decisions that are going to bankrupt Canada. Yeah. It's getting worse and worse.
It is, man.
He is spending a bunch of money that he doesn't have. Even right now, he's putting out a ton of money to in programs for people who are being harmed by the trade war that we're in with America. When maybe he just shouldn't have gotten himself into a trade war.
Exactly, man. That's the thing, man. It's like people are so elbows up here in Canada.
What the fuck does that even mean?
Elbows up,
like
guys.
Elbows up. What the fuck is that?
Yeah, elbows up, guys. Yeah, you're really fucking tough. It just drives me insane because I'm less pro. I like Canada, the country. I'm not fucking pro liberal government in Canada. No. And that's what we're saying when we want elbows up. Elbows up to what? To somebody who's standing up for their own country and shit, Trump, people could say what they want, and he's done a lot of bad shit. You know what I mean? He's not a god who's free of mistakes. Like, the guy's made a lot, and the way he talks, I could see why it rubs people the wrong way. Mm-hmm. But I would sure love to have somebody who cared about our country. Yeah. Shit. Why is that so bad? That is like the worst thing, right? You can go show in the States, they'll go on to United States or onto campuses, universities, waving an ISIS flag, and students will come up applauding them, saying, "Good for you, good for you." That same guy will go back later holding an American flag. You'll get fucking spit on. Yeah. Get the shit kicked out of him for holding an American flag. Mm-hmm. And it is very similar here with Canada. Before, now all of a sudden you want to be pro-Canadian. Well, you haven't been. You've been hating on Canada the whole time. All of a sudden now you're pro-Canada? It's ridiculous.
Isn't it funny how all that switched? I mean, we're not looking that far back when the Trudeau government was telling us that on Canada Day we shouldn't fly a Canadian flag because it might make our immigrants feel bad.
That's right. Canada has no identity.
Canada has no identity. Yeah. But all of a sudden now that it looks like Canada might break up a little bit, they might lose a couple provinces.
Traitors! You're traitors to this country that isn't really a country because we're on native land and fuck Canada, but God damn it, fucking hate that orange guy out to the south, so now we love Canada again. Well, contradictions left and right is what it is. It's just their whole way of living is a fucking one big giant contradiction. Man. Right? It is really
So now you got a whole bunch of liberals going, oh, we're patriots, we're all pro Canada now. All of a sudden, now that it goes with the narrative that's being pushed to us. Yeah. But and all of us who were back then, we're flying our Canadian flags, we're patriots. Now that a lot of those people, and this is just common sense, a lot of those people are looking right now and they're going, the things I love about Canada are still there, but the country and the way it's run is broken. Yeah. We're heading towards communism and we're heading towards dictatorship.
100%. People who don't want to see that are insane to me, man.
Right?
It's crazy. And do you think it happens all in one jump? No. It happens incremental, steps at a time. I was reading a thing a while back where it said, the easiest way to gain control over a population is not to take control, but to scare them enough that they beg you to take control of it. Right? They beg you to take away their freedoms so that you can protect them. Mm-hmm. And that is exactly what is happening through the media and through everything else, right? Like, they want you to be scared. They want you to hate the neighbors next door so that they can take. You want to be scared of guns. That's why every time there's a shooting in the States, they go ahead and they take more guns away from us here in Canada. They want you to be scared. That's why they constantly put in the propaganda out from the States or anywhere that happens, anything bad in the world, and make it act like it's happening here in Canada. It never used to be happening here in Canada. We had a pretty safe country overall. And it was honestly a pretty... I remember cheering very hard for the Olympics growing up my entire life. Like, I was super pro-Canada, man. For, like, honestly, until after the first term of Trudeau's when I started, like, getting mad at the government. I still love the country. We can hunt here and stuff still, right? For however limited time we'll probably be able to. Eventually, they're going to get rid of that.
That'll come to an end.
That is part of it. They do want to get rid of all firearms eventually, and I've already seen them talking about that. And anybody who watches that and you come away with that they're not trying to take your guns away, I don't know what we're watching. Like, how can... Because there's people who say that too. They're not trying to do that. It's like, let's watch it and tell me that. How can you even say that? They're doing that buyback program, right? In Nova Scotia, they tried doing a buyback program. Like, 9 people turned in their guns. And they said, interviewing the guy, and they said, would you consider that a failure? And what are you going to do, if people don't turn them in? And so what we're going to look at, people, they're going to have to turn them in. That's just what it is. They're, so if they don't do the buyback, what you're saying is you're going to go take them.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying. Sure, you're not saying those exact words, but what does that mean? They're going to have to turn them in. Okay, well, they don't want to turn them in. Well, they're going to have to. Yeah. Okay, so then you're going to forcefully take them from people.
And then if you look at Danielle Smith in Alberta, I love what she's doing here. So they're putting a law in place saying they're not following these rules, which is really cool. So unfortunately, as long as there are RCMP in Alberta, though, the RCMP still has to follow what the federal government says because that's their boss, right?
Yeah.
So she's looking at getting rid of the RCMP.
Yeah.
They're going to get a provincial police force. She's trying her best to fight against this, which is absolutely great. Those of you in Alberta, you may have heard that in Alberta you won't have to give up your guns because they're not going to follow that program. But keep in mind, should you take those guns still to a range at this point or take them out in the woods and an RCMP officer stops you, they will do something.
Yeah.
It's not on Alberta then. The RCMP are a federal police force, so just be aware that you are still taking a risk.
And they were getting all mad.
Yeah.
People in Alberta are getting all mad about it. That she was talking about putting in a provincial police force, like it's some dictator bullshit. It's like Ontario already has it. They have the OPP.
Yeah,
like it's nothing radical that she's talking about, man.
Vancouver has city police.
Exactly.
Yeah, it is an absolutely normal thing, and I think it's actually. I mean, if you just look at some of the really horrible things that the RCMP have done over the last couple of years, I look back and I shudder to think of this because when everybody was, when George Floyd happened and everybody was so anti-police and defund the police, I was standing up going, no, thin blue line, I'm on the police side. Yeah. These guys are protecting us. They're out there doing this hard job. And I think, for 80% of the police out there, it is like that.
Yeah.
But
I'm super pro-police as well.
But if you look at what a lot of what happened during COVID and what happened during the trucker protests, and even here in BC, they knew they could. A lot of RCMP officers did refuse to go along because they were talking about putting forces at each health district area so that you couldn't travel between the health areas. Mm-hmm. But they couldn't get enough police to sign up for it. Most of them said we're not doing it.
Yeah.
But they did get enough that they were able to shut down at least one health unit, the one around Vancouver. Yeah. So they did have them around there, and they were stopping people. So it really. Having a police force that is going to do whatever the federal government says at the cost of what the provincial government wants seems like a bad idea to me.
Yeah,
it's just one more tool towards total power, and I don't believe that the federal government should have that kind of power over the provinces. I think the provinces should be able to dictate a lot of what they're gonna do within their own province.
For sure,
right?
That should be, and that's where we differentiate from the States in a big way. Mm-hmm. I just seen that in Florida, that they said that which should be in every place no matter what, but you have to have voter ID in Florida now. You have to do it in Texas. They just took away, they're banning a bunch of guns in Virginia right now. Banning semi-automatic. They're trying to pass a law like today about it. And there was this dude who was there passing out 30-round mags for AR-15s right out in front of City Hall, dude. Yeah. It was sick, dude. Yeah. Passing out 30-round mags to people right there just coming by grabbing them for their AR-15s, right? Mm. which was pretty badass.
Yeah.
And they were making a big deal about that, right? The people were doing that. But man, I wish that we had freedom within our own provinces, like that. You don't need to be called like a radical. Like they all think Danielle Smith is a radical for wanting. People acting they don't even understand what she's talking about. She's like, I want to solve her in Alberta and United Canada.
Yeah.
People are acting like, what does that even mean? It doesn't mean anything. You want to be all by yourself. No, it means they want to be left the hell alone.
Yeah.
You know? They're going to fucking pay their money still. The stupid fucking equalization payments that Alberta has to pay. They're going to pay that shit. But they want to be left alone. They don't want the federal government being able to push all the carbon taxes on them. Deciding what kind of weapons that their citizens are allowed to own. Like, when it came to COVID, you know, the federal government was the one imposing all the restrictions and shit. When it came to like travel, they wanted to do travel bans and stuff, right? It was insane. Did you know that they were trying to? I'm sure you already did, but they wanted to charge those people from the leaders of that for like decades in prison. They wanted to have them.
Yeah.
And I think it was like honestly, the one article I read, I thought it said 70 years in prison for what they did. And in the same article, they were showing all these other cases where people have murdered people, and they've got 5 years in prison. Yeah. You know? And they wanted to put the people who organized the trucker protest, it was completely the most peaceful protest, way more peaceful than what was going on in Toronto today.
Yeah, 100%.
I think any of those people are going to be fucking... No. Yeah, because...
It's a narrative that they agree with.
Exactly. Right? That's 100% it, man. Yeah. It wasn't anti-liberal government. Mm-hmm. That's what that was. The protest was basically that. Like, you guys are taking away all of our rights. And that's what it came to, is that people from the west coast of Canada drove up to Ottawa, the thousands of them, and stood there until something happened. And a couple of days later, finally, they relieved a lot of the restrictions were let down, you know. And they said that it had nothing to do with the protest, but clearly it was. They did take away a whole bunch of people's money. They took their bank accounts. Like, there was all kinds of crazy shit that happened there that was definitely illegal, and they just did it anyways. You know
and they didn't even shut down bank accounts of people. Like, they weren't shut down bank accounts of people who were there protesting. No, they were shutting down bank accounts of people who were donating to keep the protesters going. Yeah,
who donated to GoFundMe. People from the States, they took that money and never gave it back. Yeah, which is insane too. They stole. Yeah, they stole millions of dollars.
Millions. It's like 10 million. I think the last it was.
Yeah, and what? It just never got just got dispersed amongst the government. I'm sure. Put in Trudeau's pocket. And...
Like, think about that for a second. Enough Canadians believed in this that they donated $10 million.
Yeah, it's wild.
To try to keep them there to fight for them.
Exactly. But they act like we're all fringe. Yeah. You know, nobody thinks like this. And it's crazy to me too. Another thing that I think about often is how we don't have in Canada here, we don't have any right-wing news organizations, any conservative-based news organizations. And I have people on my Facebook, some of them I had to block because I just can't even listen to it anymore, right? Mm-hmm. But saying how the right is brainwashed by the media, telling them these things. Like, what media are you talking about? There's no positive things being... I even watched one recently where they were talking about how that Pierre Poilievre should not be allowed to be talking on the radio. And there was a whole bunch of people in the comments section who were all about it, saying, I've wrote CBC saying that they've given him way too much airtime. They cannot have him. He's dangerous to have on the mic. And shit, it's like... You guys are insane. Like, literally, you've lost your minds. That is not what a free country is all about. You guys are scared of his ideas? Okay, well, have a debate with him then. Why is somebody scared to debate somebody who has actual ideas? What they're going to do is they'll go cry, oh, you hurt my feelings, and not talk about it, and then try to get him pushed off and censored, right? Mm-hmm. And that's what they want. I don't see him get any positive media attention. So I'm like, what? Where is this? Because I've never seen it. I've never seen it. I've never seen reporters go up to be like, hey, Pierre, like, I think that's a great idea. Let's talk to you about that. That never happens. But they're all over Carney and fucking Trudeau. Oh, yeah. Like, can't get enough of them. Like, they're just the next coming of Jesus, these guys, right? They're the best thing that's ever happened in the left's mind. They can do no wrong.
They are the only thing keeping the CBC going.
Yeah, it's true.
So, I mean, they're literally their bosses.
Yeah, hundreds of millions them all the time. Yeah, just constant funding.
Yeah. Oh, man, could you imagine if CNN had to take American taxpayer money to keep going?
Yeah. How all of a sudden they would be if it all depended on Trump giving them the money,
they'd be pro-Trump.
Do you think that they'd be as hating on Trump as much as they do? Stephen Colbert, you think he'd be hating on Jimmy Kimmel?
Yeah.
You know, of all their money, if they had to get it from the government, you think that they'd be hating on them as much? Yeah. Very unlikely. Very unlikely.
Very unlikely.
Yeah, it's just the shit that goes on today in our country. It's hard to take, man. It's so frustrating. It ends up taking over. I never even used. I think we might have talked about this in the past, but when I grew up, I didn't even know who my neighbors voted for.
Yeah.
I had no idea who my teachers voted for.
Yep.
Didn't even know their political affiliations. Had no idea whatsoever, man. My teachers, no, they weren't talking about that kind of stuff because that's not what they were there to do. They were there to teach students ABCs, teach them the numbers, teach them algebra, teach them phys ed, teach them shop class, you know, teach you how to do stuff, teach you history. That stuff never came in. Their own personal political decisions and how they lived their life outside of school never came into the equation. How all of a sudden now that's like what teachers think that they need to do and what basically just our culture in general, that's what you need to do. You know, you need to be some kind of, you can't just be a straight dude or you just live into yourself. You need to have something about you that you need to be telling. It's like, our world has gone to shit that way, man. You don't,
100%.
we shouldn't be so concerned about all this extra stuff, man. Let's just try living good lives, you know, not doing all this wacko shit all the time. It's hard for me to take. I don't know, man. I have a hard time trying to separate myself from it now because it's all my algorithm's fucked up, dude. The algorithm on Facebook, I want to delete it again because it's like I go on there and that's all I see is just people hating on everything about the conservatives, talking this pro-liberal nonsense, and I'm like, I try not to give it any of my time. I try to flip past it. I'm watching Elk Bugle. I'm trying to find some hunting videos, trying to find something to change my I typed in the other day, how do I fucking change my algorithm? Like, I don't want it anymore. I can't handle it. It's just, I've got off of Facebook in the past because of this. Because it's just like, it's just a dumpster fire of negative shit all the time. I see so little good, so few good things on Facebook that are make a guy happy. You know? Even most of my friends, like a lot of people, they're all mad about shit. You know? It's like... And rightfully fucking so. Our country's a dumpster fire. But I only have a few people on there that are pro all this fucking wacko shit. But it's like for some reason they're the ones that show up all the time on my feed. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like the people that I agree with or just the shit I want to see, the hunting videos, the survival videos, stuff like that, the stuff that I want to see or the pages that I want to see, I don't see them. And I got to go search for them or go find shit. It's like, so I've kind of been stopping going on there, trying to stop going there as much and just try to basically watch YouTube videos because YouTube seems to be safer for me where it's not totally messed up. My algorithm's not whacked. I can go watch the people I got subscriptions to. I can go watch Survivor Man, old school videos of Survivor Man or some hunting shows and stuff to try to ease my mind a little bit because, man, it's tough, dude. It wears on a guy. That's all you're doing is going, that's how there's so much hate out there, you know? Because I know that a lot of people, when they're face-to-face, they're not talking like that to people, you know? But just the venom that people spew on there is, like, insane. Like, they're just all keyboard tough guys, right? And they're just always yelling at each other and saying all this crazy shit. But somehow we all interact at the stores and we're not fist-fighting when everybody walks into a fucking Save On Foods, like...
I remember I was, I commented on this post on some site. It was actually a site from back where my wife is from in Salmo. One of their city pages. I commented on a post there and this guy came on there and he started attacking me. And I said, you know, you wouldn't say that kind of stuff if I was standing right in front of you. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, I would. I don't care what you say. And he went on, he's attacking me some more. I'm like, you know what? My wife is from there and I get down there once in a while. When I get down there, we should get together. Yeah. Right? And he shut up and then some other guy comments on there, yeah, he's usually hanging out at the Starbucks in Nelson. You can find him there.
That's hilarious.
So I'm like, yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, but it's people have gotten used to the idea that they can say whatever they want without getting
punched in the face, man. Yeah. It's like, and that's what people need. We need to go back to, you know, you mouth off to somebody, you might get a broken nose. You hurt somebody, you might get the shit kicked out of you or worse, you know. Yeah. Somebody has the right to defend themselves. Yeah. There's so many videos, and that's another thing that's got on my feed a lot lately. It's just people attacking people completely savagely for no reason at all. Mm-hmm. Like kids in school. I was watching the one the other day where this. Don't even like bringing race into it, but you got to describe the video. This little white girl sitting in the gymnasium reading a book in the corner. And all these black girls are like, go get her now, go get her now. And this chick just runs up and beats the shit out of her. Starts stomping her fucking head to the ground. Nobody breaks it up. There's people everywhere. Nobody breaks it up. They're all just start watching it. One kid, boy, he's like, you can tell he's like the geek of the class, comes and stands up and he finally like, stop it, but doesn't get involved, right? Yeah. And she ends up, she was in the hospital for like days afterwards. Like got seriously beat up bad. And it's like, this is like so common. where people just ambush attack people. And it ain't just black people doing it. Lots of videos of white people doing it too. I'm just saying in general, people, what the fuck is the matter with us? Yeah. What's the matter with our culture where that's okay? You just go jump people and people are videoing it. I want to know, I want to see the repercussions of these videos. Because like there's clearly evidence of it happening.
Yeah.
So like that kid better be in jail. They're like something needs to happen. There better be repercussions. And I want to know.
You know, they got pulled into the counselor's office, and the counselor said, "Oh, what went wrong in your life?"
Yeah. Oh, you had a tough life. This? Yeah. You know, right? It's understandable. You know, punch me in the face. Yeah. You know, you're right. You should punch me too, because you know you've had a tough life. You know, you're not accountable for your actions.
And let's be brutally honest too. If you're in a situation where you see something like that happening and you don't do something to help protect that person, you're kind of a piece of shit.
Yeah, man. I know. It's brutal and it happens so often. It's, I need to get the algorithm fixed. Because I see too many that's just wild seeing those videos and they're all over the place. And it happens all the time.
It's exactly the same thing. I mean, different consequences, but same thing when that guy attacked that girl on that train, right?
Yeah.
When that black guy attacked that white girl on that train. And, you know, once again, that's not necessarily a color thing, but that happened to be the colors they were.
Yeah.
And not a single person on that train helped that poor girl.
No.
He cut her throat.
Yep.
And not a single... They all got off at the next stop.
And it is fucking scary to think about. I'd like to think that I would do something too, right? It's hard to say when somebody has a weapon that you do something. I want to do something if I'm unarmed. Like, because I was always thinking... I rode the bus from Edmonton home on Christmas.
Yeah.
We've talked about this attack before, but a guy got his head cut off on a bus, on a Greyhound bus here in Canada, and the guy was like eating his ears and stuff. Pretty wild shit. And I had to ride a bus like a couple days later, and I was thinking about that on the bus. I thought it was crazy because the guy was on the middle of the bus, so people had to like go past him while this was happening. I would like to think if I was a person in behind him and we didn't know that I was there, I'd be able to stop the attack, right? If a person's ahead of you and you see him and he's coming at you with a knife, it's harder to want to stay there and try to help at the moment. I understand the panic, but I've seen police officers back down when they're armed.
And I think too, like, I'd like to reiterate there, I'm talking about that situation you're talking about where in that school, right?
Yeah.
Right. There's no weapons.
No, that's right. When there's no weapons,
like, fucking step in.
Step in, 100%.
Right? If you are in a situation where somebody else is being attacked and somebody's got a weapon and there's no opportunity to do it without getting yourself hurt or killed, then you got to think about, there's a situation where you got to think about your own life too. 100%. But at the same time, maybe you need to make sure that you do something to help the situation.
That's right. You yell, you make a scene.
You yell, you make a scene, you do whatever you have to do, right? You get some more people there.
Exactly.
And, you know, even just look at what happened on 9/11, right? All those planes that hit those buildings, right? Yeah. Those guys took those planes with box cutters.
Yeah.
Box cutter, you know, you use them for cutting tape on boxes, right?
That's wild. I think about that often.
You know, and there's like maybe, I think 2 or 3 of them on each plane. You got 70, 80, 90 people on there, right? Yeah. At that situation, there's not a lot of risk if 10 people jump those people. But those people stood there and took it. Yeah. They sat there and took it. And they ended up crashing into buildings, killing how many people? Yeah. Except for that one plane.
Yeah, that went down in Pennsylvania.
That one plane that went down in Pennsylvania. Those people fought back, and how many lives did they save?
Yeah, who knows in the end. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, probably hundreds for sure. You know, who knows, could be more. I know I've thought about that lots too. And I think this is the excuse that I've read, you know. And to me, it kind of makes sense at the time. They said before that, because there was hijackings before that. Mm-hmm. And what they do is that they fly the plane to get a ransom for people, and then they was almost like pirates in a plane, right? Like
so you kind of like they thought it was just going to be a ransom thing?
Yeah, like they didn't... up till that point, they weren't used as a weapon where they'd crashed the shit. Like that was never a fucking thing before that. Okay. So they thought that like a lot of the passengers probably thought like, okay, let's just stay calm. They're going to fly us wherever. Then we're going to land. They're going to pay these guys some money. Yeah. We'll get off and we'll get to go to another plane and get to go on our fucking way. Mm-hmm. Right? So I think that up until that point in 2001 and I don't think now that it would happen that way. I'd like to think it'd be a lot different. Yeah. If they tried to take over a plane, some people with box cutters tried to take over a plane now, I cannot see the fucking passengers all standing by doing nothing unless you're fucking coming from Ontario. A bunch of liberals would be like, no, you're right. Take this plane down.
Yeah, take this plane down.
But, you know, in general, I think that people would be, you wouldn't get 2 words out and people would be jumping on you. Yeah. You know, like they don't, that's what I'd like to think. Anyways.
I would hope so. I do find that a lot of time, like we've got this thing inside of us as humans, this fight or flight thing, and sometimes when we get we'll get too scared to fight and feel like we can't run, and some people's answer to that is to curl into a ball.
Yeah, just freeze.
If you go in the fetal position and just hope for the best, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's not a great survival instinct.
No.
In my opinion.
No, we're not.
A lot of the times. I think getting into the fetal position and allowing whatever happens to happen is probably maybe not usually your best bet.
Yeah, never is. It's your brain is shutting you down, right? Because you can't handle it.
Yeah.
You've never been involved in whatever, even if it's maybe not even in a fight, but maybe you've just never even been around violence, you know what I mean? Or you've never seen that level of shit where the other can be harmed to you, so you just don't know what the fuck to do, right? It's like, there is people like that, man. You're 100% right, man, that they just don't know what to do. So they just curl up, and that could have been, who knows, that could have been what happened too on the planes, you know what I mean? Where people just weren't, but like I said, there was a lot of people on the planes, like you say, they could have easily overwhelmed those people during that one that we're talking about. I think that is a logical thing for them to assume that they were going to land and get ransomed off, and it would have been okay. But yeah, nowadays, man, I feel like people would just be jumping, kicking.
I would certainly hope so, but I feel like we've also gotten to the point where everybody now is way weaker than
they were 100%. Yeah, the pussification of the planet.
Pussification of the planet. Yeah,
we are definitely weaker humans just in general. Yeah, we're morally weaker. We're physically weaker.
I think if there was a couple Gen X's on the plane, they wouldn't.
Yeah.
I think the rest of the kids would be sitting there going, "Don't piss them off."
Yeah, exactly. What are you doing? This guy's talking about hurting you. Right? They just call you out. Yeah, man. I can see that. Yeah. Like, that's not far fetched. Yeah. Where these fucking people are coming down, they're like, "We're gonna fucking kill you guys. You fucking say anything." And then a couple of dudes who are like, "We can fucking take these guys, man." And there's some carrier beside me. Excuse me, sir. These people are talking about overthrowing the plane. They're talking about hurting you, not letting you commit your hijacking.
Yep.
Yeah. These fucking white supremacists.
Yeah. I think people have also gotten a little bit too used to this idea, this fallacy that's been thrust upon us, that we are a civilized society and nothing bad ever happens. Mm-hmm. News no longer even shows when the bad stuff happens.
Yeah, unless it fits their narrative.
Exactly, right? Yeah. Even look at if the Tumbler Ridge incident that we just had, right? Yeah. You look at like how much did you see that on the news, really?
Oh, dude, you seen it the first day, but what didn't they show, Nate?
Well, they didn't show that the person who did the shooting.
The only reason we even knew is through social media. Showing, because there were some false pictures getting shown first, saying that it was him, but it wasn't. Who did it? And they never showed us that. Never once. In fact, they went as far. This is how we knew. The police chief there, or in the area, was giving a press conference, and he called him a gunman. And a reporter had to be like, "Hey, they didn't refer to themselves as man. They refer to themselves as a female or something." And she said, "Gun person." He changed the fucking term.
Oh.
It's like, that person just murdered a bunch of children.
Yeah.
And you're going to be polite about it. Shut your mouth. That was insane. That reporter's question for saying that. And not freaking out. Been like, are you kidding me right now? This is what you're going to say? When this has happened? Like, and those were like young kids, dude. Like, we're talking kids who weren't even teenagers, man. It is so sad. And they never talked about who this... And I guarantee you, if it was just a normal white dude, he'd be plastered all over the news. But if that doesn't fit their narrative, so they're not going to... They don't want to show it. They don't want to show you who it was.
They'd abandoned another 1,000 guns already.
Exactly.
If it was a white single guy.
Exactly, man.
But
it was terrible.
And you know, there was a meeting. Somebody came in and told Carney. They said, you know, there's been a school shooting in Tumbler Ridge, and he said, "Oh, well, we're gonna have to do something about this. We're gonna ban some guns." It's like, oh, and then they said, "Oh,
yeah, we gotta bury this.
We gotta bury it.
Yeah, we gotta bury this quick.
We gotta bury it.
Yeah, let's talk about Iran.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Trump. We gotta do something to bury this story.
Yeah.
And I feel absolutely horrible for the families involved in that and Tumblr.
Have you heard they're getting death threats?
Yeah, dude.
Like the families of the kids who have been hurt or killed
Yeah.
are getting death threats.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
It is, man. It's honestly fucking crazy, man. And I've seen some for people talking because they were bringing up percentages, right? And trying to get some of the facts out there about the case. And people are just losing their minds about that, right? Talking about that. Fuck, I seen a great thing on the Rogan podcast the other day. He had Steve-O on there.
Yeah.
Steve-O was talking about how he's had this interaction with a trans, and he's like, I really got to hear their story about how they're gonna get put into these internment camps. Trump wants internment camps, and that they're not even allowed to use their own bathroom and stuff. And Joe just cut him off and was like, "That's not true, Steve-O." Yeah. And he's like, they're not allowed to use the bathroom. Yeah. They can go use their biological sex. They can go to the man's bathroom. Nobody's gonna give a shit if he goes in the man's bathroom. They're trying to protect those out there. And he said, but then the best thing he said, he's like, but you want to know what, Steve-O? You want to know what's killed? Because Steve-O was bringing up ICE too. He said, you want to know what's killed way more people than ICE in the past couple months? And he's like, I didn't know that.
I remember hearing a statistic, and I'm pretty sure it's high. I think it was around 70% of shooters in the last 10 years that have killed 4 or more people.
That's insane, man.
Yeah,
and they're all, and we've talked about it, but they're all on antidepressants. Yeah. I was watching the other day, had a vasectomy, guys, got the old, got castrated. So she was a tough couple weeks for me. She didn't go very well, had some problems, but I was in the doctor's office, and while I'm sitting there waiting to go see a doctor, they had a TV playing a commercial for an antidepressant drug. The commercial itself was like this girl frolicking through a hayfield, just loving it, and it was about 10 seconds of them describing, like, if you have depression, take this, fucking whatever the drug's name was, I can't even remember now. Like, it could help you. And then there was literally like 3 minutes of them being like, but this drug will give you homicidal thoughts. It might make you want to kill yourself. It might make you want to kill other people. They're like, if you have any of these, meanwhile, the whole time this chick's still strolling through a hayfield in the video while they're saying all this subtext about how dangerous the drug actually is. And it's like, does it make any sense to anybody that people who are already having harmful thoughts to themselves, that they're going to take a medication that's going to make it worse, that they're going to make you want to kill yourself, kill other people, going to disassociate you with the behavior that, like, normally when people do bad shit, they feel it in their head. They're like, I'm doing something terrible right now. Yeah. Like, I can't do this, you know what I mean? But that's gone when you're on those things. You don't have that little safety mechanism where it's your body's telling you, like, you're doing something wrong right now. That's gone. You don't have that when you're on those meds. So it's like all these shooters have been on those. Like, that is a wild number to think about. And to blow over it and act like it's nothing, that's just a strange coincidence. That doesn't reflect what the reality of the situation. It's like, or it reflects it perfectly. Yeah. Yeah. Or it reflects exactly what is wrong. What we've been saying for years is that you keep acting like these people are their own main character in their own fucking movie where the world has to bow down to everything them, where they can say, this wall behind us here, it's red. Don't you know it's red? It's red to me. It means that it's red. Yeah. And then we have to stand there and go like, yeah, no, Tommy, the wall's red, Tommy. What are you guys telling Tommy? The wall's not red? Fucking assholes. Don't you want to hurt his feelings like that? It's red, Tommy. Don't worry. It's okay. It's like, that's where it's coming to. Because there is a big difference between red and this is blue. It kind of looks less blue on the screen, but, so it's like, and we're just supposed to say, no, there's not, guys. So, they want to put themselves up on this pedestal, like they can't believe that the fucking simple basic facts of life are the simple basic facts of life. You just enable a person to the point where they completely go off the fucking rails and they go shooting people because they think that there's no consequences for their actions. They're so messed up with shit that literally does drive them crazy in the end. Yeah. We're bringing it on ourselves by letting all this happen. At some point, we got to put a stop to this shit and say, like, hey, are we going to act like a rational society of people who can actually tell the differences, basic right and wrong? Yes, we have empathy and we care about people's feelings, absolutely. But we can't just fucking negate reality at the same time. We can't say that all the basic stuff about life that we know. I see Neil deGrasse Tyson say he doesn't want to define, and if somebody was asking him, is there an answer to the question? He is a scientist. He's scared to answer that basic question. And it is insane, man. Like, why are we so scared to say, yeah, clearly there's a difference?
I can break that argument right now. Only a woman can say what a woman is.
Yeah.
I'm a woman.
Yeah.
I say a woman is a person with a vagina.
There you
I'm
go.
no longer a woman. Right?
Yeah. There you go.
It is you cannot. There's never been a time throughout history when the whole world has been playing make believe like we do right now.
I know.
It's like we've all gotten ourselves caught up in some little kid's game of let's pretend the world's totally different than it is.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, man. It's exactly what it is. And
I mean, even you remember Mr. Dress Up?
yeah.
Yeah, he actually had an episode, Mr. Dress Up. You know, probably one of the most liberal men throughout our last 50, 60 years or so growing up for sure. You know, he did a show about how you could only be a boy or a girl. You couldn't be both or both or one or the other whenever you wanted.
Exactly.
And it used to be not that long ago if you felt that you were a different gender, it was considered. I mean, we're talking about what is it, like less than 1% of the population.
Yeah.
And our governments have been treating it like it's 90% of the population.
Exactly, man.
It's and by that I'm not saying that everybody has to be normal, right?
Yeah.
If you are a man and you want to dress up like a woman, and you want to go out there and live as a woman, or you want to go out there and let men sleep with you, you know what? At the end of the day, that's between you and God. I don't care. Mm-hmm. As long as you're not hurting anybody else.
Yeah.
Right? But if you're going to do that and then tell me and come up and tell me, yeah.
You know, it's like we need to let children be children, you know. We don't need to, when I was growing up, we learned sexual education. You know, that was something that they started talking to us about in grade 5. And I remember there was like some pushback from some, not really many people though, like not really many parents, but there's some people like, we didn't even want to talk about that. But I'm completely fine with talking about that, you know, like what a fucking boy is, what a girl is, you know, what sex is, what STDs are, you know, how pregnancy happens, all that stuff. You could talk about that in school under the guise of, you know, you're talking about that as educational purposes. But when you're like, that's not okay in my book. We don't need to be talking about children like that. We don't need to be influencing their decisions on stuff like that, making them seem like they're less if they're not some of this minority demographic where they're just a normal person. I don't mean say normal like most people ain't normal, but it's like if they're just a straight male or a straight female, that they're less than these other people, because that's what happens. Mm-hmm. I was watching a thing the other day where Charlize Theron, you know her?
Yep.
She's a hot gal. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I used to like her as an actress even. She was saying a thing about how all 3 of her kids, she's a trans. And I was reading the comments of the video, and they're like, that's a mathematical impossibility. 100%. Or the school is pushing it on that, because it is. It's a mathematical impossibility. You can't have that many people. It's like and that's why people are so concerned. You know that she was in a show called Juno back in the day. Paige something or whatever.
Yeah, she became a
boy, right?
Yeah.
If this is happy, like I don't think you know what happy is.
Yeah.
Like you look devastated, and she just couldn't say it in her own. She's fucked herself over now. And I think that's what it is, and that's what a lot of people do. They say that they're really happy later on in life, but they never get. A lot of people grow out of it, or they realize later on, hey, I'm not. I was a tomboy.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, oh, I just like dude things. I'm not actually a dude. Mm-hmm. You know, and they grow out of it, and I think that's where she was making herself break down because she was so clearly not happy with what she was seeing, right? And man, it's sad, dude, and that's pretty crazy. The amount of people that all of a sudden are this now, you know, compared to when we grew up, Nate. How many did you know growing up?
None.
Yeah. Funny little sidebar. I seen a Seinfeld episode the other day.
Yeah.
And I just absolutely love Seinfeld. So, but I was watching this one. George's dad there, Frank Costanza. He's with Kramer. Kramer sees him without a shirt on, and he's like got man boobs, right? And he's like, "You need some support there, Frank," or whatever. Right? So they come up with this like, Frank wants to call it a man's ear, and Kramer's calling it a bro. It's like a bra for dudes, right? But they're putting it on, and Frank and his wife were separated at the time, and she comes in, opens the door. And Frank's putting this bra on, right? And she's like, "Oh my God," in her crazy voice, and walks out or whatever, right? So George has to get it together for her to come back to the apartment, and she like opens up the door, and she's like, "Is it safe to come in here?" I just broke out laughing. I totally forgot that part even ever happened. Yeah. And I was like, I wonder if that even flies under the radar today, or if that would be like, if that got made today, that would be no way that episode would air. Like, there's no way they'd let that air.
Probably not.
No way. Calling it transvestite. You're not having one of your transvestite parties in here? Oh my God, it was hilarious. But that was the thing, man. That stuff was like...
You know, when I'm walking down the street, and I love dogs, right? when I'm walking down the street, I always walk up and I always like, I never know, you can't tell if a dog's a boy or a girl, right? By looking at it, you got to lift its legs and look at the hardware.
Yeah.
So I don't really think it's very polite to be lifting up the legs on someone's dog and looking at the hardware. So I'll get down, I'll start petting, I'll look up and say, is it a boy or a girl? But it's I
just want to go on a point to it. Say, like, I have compassion for everybody. And so does Nate.
Yeah.
You know, we both do. And I just don't think we're doing what's right to actually help people in this situation.
Well, I think we're making things worse.
Yeah, I think we are making it worse too. And I think it's not right that we're doing that, you know, and I don't think that, and I don't look down on it, because it must be terrible to be growing up in that, where you think that you're in a different body. Mm-hmm. It's got to be horrible, you know. But at the same point, I want to do what's going to help you guys, and I think that they want that too, and I think that's us as a country needs to do, and as a world, we need to look at, like, logically, like, what's actually going wrong here, you know? Where does it start? Is it diet? Is it something like where we're just... Because how is there so much more of it now?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what's different now than 50 years ago? Like, why is it such a big thing now? Like, that's what I'd like to know. Like, how is it? Is it just because because of our media? Is it something we're doing, like, chemically to our bodies that we're making that it's making people more feminine? Like, males are more feminine, or vice versa?
That's definitely a thing, right?
Is it like, so what is it? Like, what's the contributing factors that we're not looking at?
Yeah, like I was about to say there, you got the lot from how we eat, the loss of testosterone in men over the last 50, 60 years is massive.
Yeah.
I think the way we're raising our young to have no consequences and to just allow them to do whatever they want, I think that's also a part of it. People are not being guided like they were in their childhoods. Yeah. You know, and I think the onset of liberalism is, because this is just, liberalism is so set up for this. Yeah. Is so set up to push this kind of narrative. Yeah. That I think we've gotten to the point where not only we're telling people you can be whatever you want, we're telling them, you know, you should be this way. It'll make you specialer. Yeah. It'll make you more special, and you'll be better if you're this way.
Yeah, you can't just be who you are.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, you know, we do these things. I mean, what Canada's got going on here with children here. I don't know if you heard, but recently a school board member here in BC got fined $375,000 because he refused to say that transgenderism was a real thing. And we're getting really close to the point here in Canada where if you say anything against transgenderism, there are laws going on the books here in Canada that are going to make it illegal. You can be charged with hate speech.
It's going to be at the UK.
Right? And I mean, we're just getting to the point, we're losing so much freedom here in our country. It's like death by 1,000 cuts, and it's getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And we're getting to the point where we can't say anything against the liberal narrative. And the rest, it's kind of nice to see, but the rest of the world is kind of backing off from this a little bit. Yeah. A lot of the rest of the world has backed off of that.
That's good.
And here in Canada, we're still like, you know, we're still pushing it. And I don't know if a lot of you know this, but the drugs that they use for the hormones that they give, and they're making it seem like it's not a big deal. It's reversible. It's not.
How about you let somebody grow to adulthood? And like we say, if they want to do something after their adulthood, okay. Then you go do what you want. It's none of our business. You know what I mean? Like, we don't care. Okay, well, now you're just asking me to lie. You know what I mean? I'm not a good liar. I don't like lying. That's not what I do. I don't like lying. And you're making me lie all the time by saying that. I don't feel comfortable lying about it. Sorry. I don't. You know what I mean? And I don't feel comfortable saying that it's okay to do this shit to kids, because it ain't okay.
It's not okay.
You know, you're destroying kids' lives doing this. It's not fair. It's not fair to them. They're not capable of making decisions like that are going to change their whole life. So it's like...
or maybe it's just me, but if somebody can't make the decision to get a tattoo, how the hell... Like, on what level anywhere is that a rational thought?
Yeah. I don't know. I totally agree. I don't know where that's coming from, and I'm not down with that at all. And that's, again, just goes back to... I hate to say it, like I don't even like calling what we got going on now liberalism. Mm-hmm. You know, it's really not, dude. Like, why don't we got something completely craziness going on here? Because it's not. They got like a disease going on here, man. It's not. I watched some videos the other day of Hillary Clinton talking. Mm-hmm. She is far more drastic than Trump is in all of her talks. Mm-hmm. She was like so pro deportation. It's nuts, man. She was talking about it, right? Like, and all way more fire in her voice than Trump has, and nobody says a damn thing. And that was liberalism 10, 15 years ago. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. She was still part of the Democratic Party then, you know? And now, it seems like conservatives now is what a liberal was 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Really. Like, that's what it seems like to me, man. It's not... I don't know any conservatives that I've even met in my life who are against gays. I don't know any.
Yeah.
I don't care less, man. I got a bunch of buddies that are gay. That's beauty. I have no problems with it whatsoever.
I know some conservative gay guys.
You know? Yeah, exactly. I know some conservative gay guys as well. I got no problems with that. Like, and that's still something that they try to use, like that they're anti-gay. Conservatives are anti-gay. It's like, who? Where? Show me one. I've never met one if that's the case. Like, I'd like to think are pretty liberal. I used to be like completely anti-vote, anti-conservative, anti-liberal, anti-everything. I was just anti-government in general. Like, I hate the government, right?
Yeah.
Because usually they're not looking out for you. And conservatives might not be either. You know what I mean? Like, I'd like to think, but it's been so long since we've had a conservative government. I need to see one in action for me to be... I just know that this one ain't working.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'd like to think that Pierre would get in there and he'd do good things and he'd do what he says. But again, it seems like whenever somebody does get in power, they end up folding, you know? And that's what had been a big problem with Trump here, is that he based his whole last election on being anti-war. Yeah. That's where he's had so much pushback with this Iran thing, right? Mm-hmm. It's because Iran never instigated nothing with them, like on their own, right? It was like them and Israel were going at it, and they're like, "Okay, well, we're gonna blow the shit out of Iran." Not saying they didn't need it, not saying that, but I'm just saying. I've watched a lot of people from his base, people that I know on Facebook that are buddies with him, like, are just choked at him, right? Mm-hmm. A bunch of guys who voted for him who were UFC guys are like, I voted for him on the fact that he was anti-war. Yeah. And now he's let me down, like, you know, that they regret voting for him because what he's doing with him. Pretty good chance we're going to be going into a World War III scenario here.
I think we're pretty much already there.
Because Russia now, I just watched a thing today where Russia was saying that if they can invade, if the U.S. can invade Iran or attack Iran, we should be able to attack anybody in Europe too. Because honestly, this is from the outside looking in. Nate, correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't know it all. It seemed to me that Ukraine, being in NATO, wanting to put NATO bases on there and everything, and were far more of a danger to Russia than Iran was to the United States. Like, Ukraine is on Russia's border. Yep. Right? They're right there. Mm-hmm. The whole deal after World War II was that there wasn't going to be any NATO bases like within a country. There's going to be a gap, basically, right? A buffer zone. And we didn't listen to that, right? We put NATO bases all over the place and shit. So we weren't really listening to the rules that we put in place, which is standard protocol. Look at all the stuff we did for the treaties for the the Native Americans back in the day. It's a piece of paper. They wiped their ass with it. They didn't care, right? They don't listen to that shit. So it's like they put all that stuff in place, broke all the rules to it, put all these sanctions on Russia. Fucking, we're backing Ukraine for all this stuff, right? And then they get all surprised and upset when Russia is like, "Hey, fuck these guys," then, and they go invade Ukraine, right? Yep. Iran hasn't done anything to attack the United States directly, and they're on the other side of the world. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And that's not saying they can't get involved. Like when Germany did bad shit in World War II, of course we should get involved. There's terrible things sometimes you need to get involved. But doesn't it set a precedence that now other countries can do similar things by saying, well, I think that because China now is saying that they want to back Iran too. Yeah. You know? If Russia's backing Iran, China's backing Iran, that's not a good scenario for anybody right now. It's not looking too positive, you know what I mean? And maybe that's what the world wants, is another World War III. That's what the military-industrial complex is looking for, right? Is to start another World War III. Yeah. But, I don't know, it just seems like I understand. At one point, I completely understand why they would want to go to war with Iran. Mm-hmm. Okay? But also, do you need to let Israel fight its own battles for a little while and see? Because they're seem pretty capable. Yeah. You know what I mean? Is it necessary for the U.S. to get that involved with it? I don't know. I'm just throwing out some softballs here, Nate, because I don't know about it. I'm not upset for him for doing it. Yeah. But Israel seems to be stirring some shit up, and Israel's in a tough spot. Yeah. They get attacked on all sides from everybody all the time, right? It's like So I don't know. I'm kind of in the middle on it all. Like I understand why we need to do it, but I'm also at the same point wondering if this is Israel's war, should we let Israel do the fighting and step in when need be?
Yeah.
Not doing direct military action, because the United States stood up for Ukraine by giving them weapons.
Yeah.
They never bombed Russia directly.
Mm-hmm.
The United States didn't.
True.
So couldn't they have done the same thing in this situation by giving weapons to Israel, helping Israel defend itself on its own ground instead of actually being the ones shooting the missiles? It's very similar because you're still giving them the weapons to do the damage that they're going to do, but you're the one actually pulling the trigger on it and start. It's like sets a precedent that it's okay now for other countries to do that too, right? And it's like. And look, and with everything else that's going on, with Venezuela, with Cuba, all the craziness that Trump's done, right? Like, that's pretty wild shit. They wouldn't kidnap the fucking president of a country.
That is pretty wild.
They're really setting a precedent that it's like, okay, well, they can just go do whatever they want. And P.S., the fucking states ain't no angels.
No.
Anything at the states, they've been involved in more crazy shit, political corruption, war stuff that clearly any other country on the planet. They're not nobody. I don't think anybody can argue that they, especially with the CIA, all the stuff they've done behind the closed doors, right? Like, it's wild when you go look at it. I watched a ton of shit on that, right? But like, the CIA was buying drugs from people from Mexican and stuff down back in like the 70s and flying them up, and that's how they funded a lot of their operations, was selling drugs and shit. And that's like Project Contra or something like that. Like, it's known fucking thing. That's what that American Made is about, that movie with Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. It's like that really happened. They brought over all kinds of Nazis after World War II, Project Paperclip, to work on rocketry here in the States and stuff, right? There was like Project Northwoods, where they set a bunch of guerrillas in to go fight in Cuba. They wanted to start World War III in fucking Cuba, and Kennedy fucking put a stop to it and shit. So there was like there are all kinds of shit that they've done too, where they try to topple governments and stuff. That's like what they're known for, is regime change, right? So I do think 100% that they get way too involved in all over the world, trying to put leaders in place that they want. You know what I mean? Because it's not up to them; it's up to the people in that country. But that being said, the Iranians look pretty happy.
Yeah, they do.
After they bombed,
right?
After Trump bombed there too. So it's like, but is that just something that we're seeing? Is it propaganda on our end?
You know what? I don't think so. I don't know if you know this. Before America attacked, the Iranian people are almost in uprising right now.
Yeah.
Right? This was going on, and for months before the attack, the Iranian government had been killing its own people.
Okay.
Yeah, they had been. There was rioting in the streets. They want that government gone.
Yeah, its own people do too.
Its own people want it gone.
See, I like that.
So, and I from what I heard, the numbers were like pretty massive. Like something like over the last year or so, they've killed like something like 30,000 of their own people.
Yeah, that's wild.
Right. And these people are just keep going out there and uprising, and they want
put
that
themselves
gone.
on the line like that.
Yeah.
You can tell they want them gone. See,
They want
situations
gone.
like that, I get, right?
Yeah.
And I think that then it's more reasonable to step in situations like that. Okay, I totally understand that. I think that's reasonable. But I know that there's been lots of countries where that hasn't been the case, where states has gotten involved, and it just made it a shitstorm.
Yeah.
It's made it worse than it was. They spent how many billions of dollars trying to fight Al Qaeda, and then they funded Al Qaeda to put them in Afghanistan as the leaders afterwards, the Taliban.
Yeah.
All that shit. It's just a joke. It's a fucking joke, and that's what a lot of the veterans talk about. They're like, we spent all this money killing all these people, and then we just put them in power afterwards. They left how much stuff when they bailed out of Afghanistan, right? Left planes, literally houses full of millions and millions of dollars. They just left it there for them and stuff. All the weapons,
like $10 billion worth of equipment or something.
Wild
like that.
stuff. Man.
And how many people got left behind to die?
Yeah, all their sources and all that
shit.
Like,
Let's make sure we say though that was under Biden.
That was under Biden.
That was under Biden.
Yeah.
And that was and Trump had left to that situation actually pretty good.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Yeah,
that was pretty bad. Leaving it like that,
That was horrible. I mean, they pulled out and they left people and they left assets and they left the people who were working for them from Afghanistan, the people who had put their trust in the American
that they were going to be okay.
soldiers,
That's
that they were going to be okay, right? And and they left them.
Yeah.
They left them to die.
So there's lots of shit like that through America when they go, like they kind of just wash their hands of stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
And it's like they want what they want and they're going to get it,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and that's how Trump's acting right now too, you know?
Yep.
You know, he's like, he says, you know, he's like, I spent the last few years, like they've spent building up our military to the most powerful military that the world's ever seen. And, you know, we're going to do what we want to do. And cool. At the same point, you guys have already done so much bad shit all over the world that you got a pretty bad reputation as is.
Mm-hmm.
So going to attack Iran like this, I just don't know. And with the Venezuelan shit, I don't know if it was a good idea for them to do it themselves. I feel like I said earlier, like they could have done it like it wasn't popular to keep funding Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I don't think it would be popular to fund Israel a bunch of weapons to fight their own war. I don't think people want another war is the main thing. You know,
and you know Israel's not really well liked in the area.
No, they're not at all.
Like there's some stuff there too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Israel's not a great country.
No, they got problems too, man.
They do.
You know, and we're all like, I'm pro-Christian. I'm a Christian.
Yeah.
But Israel's got problems.
Israel's got problems.
You know, to say that they don't is ridiculous too. You know what I mean? That's why it's such a hard. There's no clear cut good guys and bad guys.
No.
You know what I mean? It's like there's people who, you know, they align more with what you believe, but they've still done lots of bad shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's the States. You know, they align with the West with freedom and stuff over here. They let you carry guns. You know, they have laws here that they want to protect you. But at the same point, they're doing a lot of crazy shit too, spying on their own people like we're all doing, right? With our phones, they're all spying devices. Like everything that we have is built with us spying on our own people, or they'll go over to other countries and do all the crazy shit these other countries do, and they'll just go do it in other countries too. And like the propaganda we hear from our own people is like, oh, we're not doing any of that, right? I want to hear from other people's point of view, because like it was interesting hearing Putin's point of view on it. I've listened to a bunch of speeches from him talk about what the States is, you know what I mean, and what they do and shit, and how they're the propaganda that they're getting fed, that the United States and us are getting fed over here. And I'd be super interested to hear, like, you know, like what are they hearing over there about us?
Yeah.
You know, because I guarantee you it ain't what we're hearing. You know, while we're so, you know, such an amazing place and all this, it's all you ever hear, right? Mm-hmm. That we're always in the right.
Yeah.
You know, we're never in the wrong. Same with the States. You know, they're always in the right. I don't see that. I don't think that's the case, guys. I think that there's a lot of money involved here.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of money going through, changing hands, oil. Did you see how he said that he wasn't going to attack the oil because it's not good for the economy? He's not going to attack the oil. There's like a little island off the shore there. He bombed all the military stuff on it, but he's going to leave the oil.
Yeah.
Because he wants the oil.
He wants the oil. 100%.
You know? And that's why he took Venezuela.
Yeah.
They want the fucking oil.
They want the oil.
Know?
He is making the places he seems to be going after are places that are going to be awfully helpful for him.
Yeah.
For America if he gets them, right? Greenland, a lot of people probably wonder why he wants Greenland so bad. Greenland is actually, if you look at a map, it's really weird. When they drew maps, the actual sizes of the continents aren't the same as they are in real life.
Yeah.
They're not to scale. So if you saw like an actual picture from above, Greenland is way bigger than it looks like it is on a map.
Yeah.
Right? And Greenland is this massive landmass directly between basically China and America.
Yeah.
Right. It is a huge military asset if they had control to put bases on there.
Yeah.
And it's I believe that the thought behind why they were going after them is because they believe if they have control of it, they have an airspace with which to fight them from without having them come to mainland
America, like the Golden Dome or something.
Yeah.
Like that he's calling it.
Yeah.
And also this is very similar too, because they have natural resources there that they're not producing too.
That's true.
And he says that that's what he keeps talking about is how we're going to get the resources to market and stuff like that. And
it's kind of almost starting to feel like Fallout.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever played
that game.
that game. It's basically everybody's running out of resources and they're starting to fight over them.
Yeah, like are they though, or is he just like
getting ahead of it?
Yeah, or he's just like the U.S. is definitely running out. The U.S. is out of land. They're fucking pumped all all the resources. Look how many wells they got off in the Gulf of America.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, in general, the States, they went to Libya, they got all that. You know what I mean? They go to all these places in the Middle East where they take all the oil and all the shit from there. And it just doesn't seem like there's any stopping it. Now, he goes to Venezuela, does that. What would it take to stop it? And do we want it to stop?
Well, that's the other thing, right? Because, I mean, if you look at what happened in Venezuela, too, the guy he took out of Venezuela
He's a piece of shit.
was a piece of shit.
A fucking piece of shit.
Was 100% a piece of shit, right?
And, and they were celebrating in the streets.
They were celebrating in the streets. Yeah, they hadn't seen freedom in so long.
No.
It was crazy. And same thing in Iran.
Yeah.
In Iran, if you look up pictures, I'll actually throw up a couple pictures here of what people looked like in Iran in the 70s.
I know they were westernized.
They were like us.
Yeah.
They were just like us, you know. And then they came in, and they took over.
Islam took over.
Islam took over, and now it's striking how much different it is. They have zero freedom.
Yeah, they used to like wear skirts, women go to university.
Yeah,
you know,
I'm gonna go to nightclubs and dance.
Yeah, totally. Exact opposite happened afterwards, right?
Yeah, I mean, and now you've got a situation where the people are uprising on their own, and you know, and we can see that. We're seeing reports of that.
Yeah.
Maybe not on the real news, not on the fake news that everybody sees on TV,
CBC.
but you can see it.
Yeah.
You can see that it's happening. The American government, of course, is going to have ways of seeing that. The people are uprising, they're getting killed, and they're still uprising, so they're willing to fight for it.
Yeah.
I've heard that he has said he only wanted to attack with missiles, and his hope was that the people of Iran would take over and from there and take back their own country.
Yeah.
It's getting closer and closer to looking like they're going to have to put boots on the ground, which really sucks.
Yeah, because then it's going to be another Afghanistan, man. It's going to be decades of war, I feel like, over there.
I do feel like, though, in one difference, so the big difference between Afghanistan is I think Afghanistan was already an Islamic country who got taken over by a worse Islamic nation, right? And I feel like the people in Iran are hearing stories from their grandparents about what it was like in the old days when they had freedom.
Yeah.
I feel like, and there's a lot of Christians in Iran, and the Christians are being persecuted in Iran like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah.
Like stoned in the streets, killed. It's the way.
That's the thing too, though, Nate, is because like I think why the war in Afghanistan took so long and never ended up going anywhere is because you're not fighting a country. Mm-hmm. It's not like back in the day, like you're fighting Germans. And they're the Nazis. Yeah. They're like cells of terrorists, you know what I mean? They're just like people here and there who are unhappy. Yeah. You know what I mean? So they're always going to be that. You know, there's going to be people that are like, hey, you know, my dad got killed in this war and my great-granddad, I'm going to go blow up somebody now too. Mm-hmm. And it's just like repetition, man. It just happens repeatedly over there. When has there ever been peace in the Middle East?
No, there never has.
There never has been, man. As long as we know it, right? It's been nothing but battle and wars. Like,
even when they don't have Christians to fight against, they fight against each other.
That's right, man. So, I don't know. Will it do anything to change it? You know what I mean? I don't want them to have nukes 100%. Yeah. You know? I also didn't want North Korea to have nukes. I think that's a good idea. Yeah. You know? They're pretty wild. Probably a good thing that they don't have nukes. Yeah. But, because we've done a pretty good job, pretty outstanding job, the world in general, for never releasing another nuke after World War II. Mm. Pretty wild.
Yeah, it's almost crazy that we've been able to hold that ourselves.
Yeah, like, you know, there's been a couple really close calls where they've almost had to. I was watching a thing where there was a Russian sub one time he was a nuclear ready sub, and he got orders to launch and didn't launch. He actually came to surface. He because his counterpart did want to launch too and stuff, right? And they went to surface. To make a call which was against regulations, and it was a fucking mistake.
It was a mistake. Yeah, I heard about that.
So, and there's been multiple things like that where, you know, there's been really close calls where a phone call has saved the fucking day, right? Where there was going to be nukes that got launched. So, I think and it's pretty surprising. It shows you how much they know that you think that they don't know. That, like, they know who's building nukes. They know where they're all getting built. They know everything, right? So it's like, I think it's very hard for somebody just to go like build a fucking nuke. Yeah. You know what I mean? You can't just go build a nuke like any country. It doesn't even your own country. You think it's yourself. You're like, you know what? We're gonna get a couple of scientists together here. We're gonna go build a nuke. They already know. Yeah. They heard you from some fucking satellite somehow. They heard what you were saying. Yeah. And they know, so they're on to you. They're not gonna let you build that nuke in the first place, right? Which is cool and scary that they got that technology that they're just like, they're on everybody's there's no hiding nothing, right?
No.
You're on the radar for everything. But I think that it's coming to a point. I don't know if it'll be like a limited nuclear exchange where smaller nukes will be used. But if China and Russia back Iran and there's boots on the ground both sides, it's going to be fucking bad news, man.
Well, you know what I think? I have a little bit of a thought into this. I think that some more of what I've heard about what's going on in Iran is Iran has become out of Russia and China don't get along as well as they like to make us think they do, right? They compete against each other for a lot of things. And I think Russia has really, because China has kind of surpassed Russia in power.
Oh, 100%.
And I think that Russia's kind of pissed about that. And they don't really like that. They're supposed to be the motherland of communism, right?
Yeah.
That's where it all started. And I think they kind of hold that against China. And there's actually been quite a few times throughout history now where China and Russia don't really get along at all. You know, they come across as they do, but they don't really help each other out. And I think that Russia is so embroiled in the Ukraine, and they're throwing so much towards that. And I think they're almost kind of looking at this as a plus, because eyes are off Ukraine now.
Yeah.
And they're on Iran. So Russia's kind of at the point where everybody, okay, they're just going to leave us alone and let us fight now.
Yeah.
I think that China doesn't have the military or the ability to put boots on the ground in Iran. They've got a big enough military, but they've got no way to get him there.
Yeah, you don't think they'd fly him in there? And...
I think they're not going to have the airspace to do it. Yeah. They'll have to fight their way to Iran.
Yeah, because the United States has air bases all over the Middle East.
All over the place, and even the countries that aren't allowed in America to fly over their countries to get to Iran definitely aren't letting China do it.
Yeah.
Right. So China's got no friends there except Iran.
Yeah.
So boots on the ground. They have one aircraft carrier. They don't have the ships to carry the people. They don't have the long range fighters. Like, they can't get there.
Yeah.
And also, I think that China is going to use it as you know what I think is going to happen before China puts boots on the ground in Iran? I think they're putting boots on the ground in Taiwan.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I kind of meant by, like, it sets a precedent.
Oh,
Not that they have to go to war with this, but they can just go do what they want now,
Yeah.
too, right? So that, like, Trump takes Venezuela. Okay, well, fuck, we'll take Taiwan. You know what I mean? Russia's going to take Ukraine, go full on in. Be like, we want Ukraine.
I can definitely see that happening.
Yeah.
I can see that as where it's going to go. But also, I watched a video on kind of where Iran sits within their within the Iran, Russia, China thing, and basically they are a resource for the other two countries. Russia doesn't really need the oil, but China does, and China and Russia don't really get along, so there's not that kind of trade amongst them. Like, Russia's not going to send a bunch of their oil to China unless they absolutely had to.
Yeah.
So Iran is the major oil producer for all of the oil going to China. If a war does start with China and they can stop them from getting Iranian oil, China will not be able to fight. They won't be able to do a long-term fight.
I seen him talking about that's why he wanted to, like, seal up the strait.
Yeah.
Trump was talking about it. Yeah, that's probably why too, right? They don't want that oil getting out.
Yeah.
Because that's their main port.
And then also, if they can take Iran out of the equation, I mean, nukes are a big thing too. Iran's working towards nukes, right? They're going to do it. They want to be a nuclear power, and they're going to eventually get there. And when they get there, they just might damn well be crazy enough to throw a couple around.
Yeah.
Right. So there's that on the table too, and then if they can get Iran taken over, if they can get the people of Iran to even step up and take over their own country, or put another government in place, or do something to calm Iran down, the Middle East will be so much calmer. Iran is the biggest.
They're an instigator. For a lot of terrorism and shit too. They harbor a lot of terrorists. Like, that's where they kind of get funded and stuff like that, is out of Iran.
So I'm not saying, like, I'm not saying that war is good. I'm not saying that people dying is good. But I myself kind of feel like maybe it had to happen sometime. Like,
well, they've been screaming death to America forever.
Yeah.
You know, for like a long time. And it's like, okay, you're going to keep yelling that shit. Let me fire a fucking tomahawk right in your ass.
Yeah.
And that's what happened to that Supreme Leader. Now they got a new one who's saying, I just seen a bunch of hilarious shit that he was saying. He's mouthing off again already too, and it's like,
I heard he got hurt already.
well, I seen a bunch of shit. I don't think he actually did.
Yeah.
Because somebody was saying that his legs blown off or something like that, but then he was standing in the video at the walk.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, I don't think he actually did, but he was saying the only way that they're willing to surrender is if the United States pulls out all their bases out of the entire Middle East.
Yeah, that's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's like, okay, yeah, and unicorns are going to be flying around today too, and you know, it's like completely stupid to even suggest such a thing, right? There's no chance that that's ever going to happen.
No.
Yeah, they're. I can't see it being over quickly though. Is the thing, man. If they're not, because they took a pretty severe pounding already. You know what I mean?
Well, make no mistake, I think we're at the beginning of World War III.
Yeah.
I think in the history books, if we make it past World War III,
Yeah.
history books are going to look at us and go, okay, you guys are here. Back here is when the war started.
Yeah.
I think you're going to start like maybe when the Ukraine first got attacked, right? And we really are we're still dealing with the effects of World War I and World War II. That's why all this is happening.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's exactly what happened with, like we were talking about earlier already. Like that's one of the reasons why Russia went after the Ukraine in the first place. Like they were basically they used to be part of Russia.
Yep.
And it became its own thing. There wasn't supposed to be any bases there, NATO bases around them. Then they just decided to put them in there. So it's like that's all World War II shit still.
Yeah.
You know, that's just ramifications of World War II.
And let's remember just how corrupt of a country the Ukraine is too.
Oh yeah, super.
I don't know
It's
if you
incredible.
heard, but Zelensky just bought himself a fucking 4 luxury properties in Ukraine.
Yeah, and in the States he owns a ton too.
Nice, good
I
for
didn't know
him.
that. Yeah, I was watching a thing the other day. Like,
Yeah.
multi-million-dollar places all over the United States. He's got all these places built, right?
Yeah, and I mean, and Canada gave him a whole bunch of money too, and you know, luckily he's gotten a great financial advisor now. I don't know if you heard, but Miss Krista Freeland
Isn't that hilarious?
is now his financial advisor there.
Unfucking believable.
Yeah,
Unbelievable, dude.
yeah. We just literally saw the bribe get paid off.
100%, dude. How much is she going to be worth?
Oh, it's gonna be huge, massive.
Like the amount of insider trading and fraud that goes on that we just let slide as citizens, it's unbelievable. Yeah. Like back in the day, Britain, they decided to go find a whole new. They didn't even know 100% sure that America existed, and they're like, "We're getting out of here because they're charging interest," and that was too much for people back in the day because there was no distractions. People cared a lot more about their personal freedoms and their money back then. Now it's like you can. How many taxes? How many taxes are we gonna let go before people just stand up and be like, enough is enough? Yeah. Like
Getting blood dry.
Yeah, the income tax is bad enough, man. Our income tax is insane. Let alone everything else. When we work overtime, we get taxed 40%.
Mm-hmm.
It is insane. You work harder, you try to better yourself. The government's like, I don't think so. You're gonna be giving me most of that
take
money.
some more of that.
Yeah, and then it gets taxed after that because you go buy shit. It gets taxed at your house. It gets taxed on all your stuff.
All right, we're back.
Back from a break.
Had a little bit of we went for 2 hours, and that's as far as the camera goes. So we had to take ourselves a little bit of a time out there. We're getting a little bit too angry with those Iranians. Had to take a little time to calm down.
Take a little time out there, you know.
Yeah.
Feeling a little better now.
Yeah.
What do you got to say to wrap up anything on the old Iranian subject there, Nave?
Well, I just wanted to reiterate that, you know, at the end of the day, nobody likes war. You'd have to be an idiot to like war, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, too, though, I think that I think this has been brewing for a long time with Iran, and Iran's really been pushing back. You know, I don't know if you heard about when they took that plane full of people hostage, and then Obama gave them a couple $1 billion,
Yeah.
and then they refused to join in whatever nuclear treaty, and Biden gave them like $60 billion or something stupid like that. They've been pushing at America for a long time.
Yeah.
And you know, I think it's shitty that it happened. I think nobody wants to see people get killed, but I think it was a fight that was coming whether we wanted it or not.
Yeah.
And I think that even if we don't like the way it started, not liking the way something started doesn't mean that we can't take action on it, right?
No, that's true.
You know, if you don't like that somebody, if you don't like that I don't know, that a buddy of yours went up and or that if you don't like that your kid said something bad to somebody and they hit him, but then all of a sudden that person hits them all the time now. You know, you don't like the way it started because your kid started it, but at the end of the day, you got to make it stop.
That's right.
Right? And
I think Canada should get in there.
I don't think Canada can get in there.
No,
I think we are at the point where I think probably a good, statistically speaking, I have no proof of this, but I'm pretty sure that about 80% in our military right now is transgender, because we're paying for their operations if they join the military.
I got a buddy I asked when this first popped off with Iran. I got a buddy who's in the armed forces there, and I asked him, "What do you think the chances are you getting deployed over to Iran?" And he says, "Pretty much non-existent. I think.
Yeah.
Can't see it happening." So, I just don't think it. As shitty as it is, I don't think we'd back up our most powerful ally, the States, if shit did go awry. I don't know what it would take for us. Like, our military is so fucked. We're so underfunded.
Yeah.
You know, we're terrible to our vets. In every aspect, we're underfunded. We're the lowest in all the countries in NATO. We're the last one. We're the least funded country in all of NATO by a shit ton.
Yeah.
Like, by a lot.
Yeah.
It's not even close. So, yeah, I don't think that we're capable of really doing much defending ourselves against serious attacks. Like, as much as everybody wants to talk about elbows up, we rely heavily on the big brother of the United States to defend us, man.
I don't think a lot of people remember too, though. You know, Carney's talking a big game right now about how much money he's spending on the military, right? But he's still basically right now the money's starting to get spent, but it hasn't done anything yet. You know, so we basically have the same military we had under Justin Trudeau.
Yeah.
We gave every single one of our working tanks to the Ukraine, so we have no tanks. Right? We don't have I think the best planes that we have now are like last generation or the generation before, and we don't have many of them.
Yeah.
We don't have many fighters. We don't have much for ships.
Our Navy's brutal. Yeah.
Our Navy's brutal. Yeah, we're not an army.
No.
We don't have. You can just about say we don't have an army.
We used to have some of the toughest SOBs around too. During World War II, man, we had some really tough people go out. And I'm not saying that our soldiers today aren't. Like, do have some tough soldiers, man. Like, my buddy's one of them. He's an absolute stud. But the numbers of people that are willing, because it doesn't really go hand in hand, you know, like the Liberals, right? They cut all the funding for the army, so they don't come up. But also the people that kind of government creates aren't really manly men who want to go fighting and do stuff. You know what I mean? So it's kind of double-edged sword. It cuts us both ways, man. It's like, you know, not only do we not have the funding, but also the people in the country that we're bringing up also aren't the same caliber of people that we once had. Yeah. You know, who are absolute diehards, guys, pioneers, guys who work their ass off for a living. You know what I mean? Who will push through adversity. We don't have much of that anymore.
In World War II, we terrified the enemy. They were terrified to fight against Canadians. We were brutal and vicious, and we wouldn't stop fighting. And there are monuments to the Canadian military all over the place in Europe. Places that we set free, or cities that we put up monuments to us because we were so brutal and vicious. Yeah, you know. And now, I mean, there's nobody running away from us. No. I mean, it doesn't matter how many men or women, they're all wearing skirts. which, if I'm not mistaken, is actually allowed now in the Canadian military. Oh, yeah, you're allowed to have your hair as long as you want, have whatever tattoos you want. And
that's pretty bad, man. It's like, I don't give a shit about the tattoos, but if you don't have some kind of... That's what made... The thing about the military, man, was that they break you down as the individual. Yeah. So that you're like part of the collective, right? Yeah. You're not an individual anymore. Your personal shit doesn't matter once you get to the military. You listen to the drill instructor because you need to be there for your team. Everything's about the team. It's not about individuals. And that's the nonsense that is putting in. It's like, you're more important than your team. You're more important than your team's safety. You're more important than this. So what else can I do for you to please you? It doesn't matter. Back in the day, there was no pleasing the people. You needed to please your drill instructor, or else you got kicked out of the frickin' military. Yeah. You know, because they had plenty of people willing to volunteer as a thing too, man. You know, especially when it came to World War II. There was no shortage of people that were like, I want to fight, you know. So,
and you know what that generation was called? The Greatest Generation.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
their actual name.
Yeah.
That's the name of their generation, the Greatest Generation.
Yeah.
I mean, those people signed up. They had people signing up 15, 16 years old.
Yeah, man. Faking
Trying
birth
to
certificates.
faking their birth certificates,
I
trying to
know.
get into the army because they wanted to go fight.
People were killing themselves because they fucking became 4F or they couldn't actually join the military because they had some kind of disability or something
Yeah.
that would let them, and they were so distraught over it that they killed themselves. Like there was that
Yeah.
much pride in being in the military, you know what I mean? That it was like if you couldn't do it, that just destroyed them, you know what I mean? Like that's insane, dude.
Yeah.
Now, man, fuck. We don't have anything close to that.
Nothing like that anymore. There's nobody stepping up like that generation did.
No.
I shuddered to think what would happen if somebody ever actually put boots on the ground in our country.
You know who would do the fighting?
Us.
The hunters, the
Yeah.
normal people, you know what I mean? They're the citizens of the world, and that's the shitty thing is that they're taking away lots of our guns. But in reality, man, our military, for one, our country's too big
Yeah.
for it to defend. You know what I mean? Maybe we could hold one front with what we have going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You come at multiple fronts, we're in trouble. You know, there's nothing we can do, and that's where just going through your normal before. I don't care if you're going through Edmonton, you're going through any city back in the day, everybody had rifles.
Yep.
You know, now it's like people have, ooh, guns, ooh, somebody's got a gun, they feel, oh my goodness, they got guns.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a scary word, icky, oh, the gun. But it's like, that's why they have guns, man.
Yeah.
Because to protect not only yourself as an individual from somebody breaking into your shit to trying to hurt you, but also from your own government coming in, or
Yep.
if people, that's why Japan never invaded. You know that? When they wiped out Pearl Harbor, they said like why they didn't want to come in is because everybody in the fucking United States had a gun.
It's not enough to beat the army. You got to beat the people who are already armed.
That's right, man. And there's a ton of them.
And if you were to count every single man and woman, child in Canada that has a gun as part of the military, our military probably shows being 30 times the size.
Oh yeah, that's right.
You know,
Yeah, it'd be huge.
and people will protect people who have guns, people who are hunters, and people that are strong enough to stand and protect.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the old TV show V?
V?
Yeah, it was about aliens invading the Earth. But
Oh,
they
yeah,
came-
no, I did see that.
But they came in and pretended to be our friends.
Yeah, I did watch that.
And,
That was a while back, yeah.
Yeah, it was like way back in the 70s. But I don't know if you remember, but most of humanity kind of became like friends of the people that were invading us, and it was like it's very much like how people will fall to the greatest power. You know, and just do whatever they have to do to stay in favor with the greatest power.
Yeah.
And that's the part of our world nowadays that really bothers me is you won't have to worry about the people shooting at you. You'll have to worry about the people shooting you in the back.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. I read a quote today that was actually, and I've heard it before, but I think it was from Tolstoy, but it said like, morals, something that's morally right doesn't go out the window just because like the majority of the people don't quit believing in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Right is right.
Right is right.
It doesn't matter if the government's telling you that it's wrong all of a
Yeah.
sudden or whatever, you know what I mean? Like if morally, you can't change, and that's what they do. People will change, especially politically, you know what I mean? Like that's where I differ pretty greatly from a lot of people, I think, is that I believe with a lot of conservative values, but there's some shit that I clearly just don't believe in, and I'm not afraid to say that I don't believe in, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like people on the left, they'll be like, I know my party believes this, so I need to believe this. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Going all the way to all the craziness we're talking about, even though you know it's not morally right, they're still like that. Well, you know,
It's kind of like
my party believes it, so I got to do it too.
Yeah.
Like it's like no, that's not how it goes, man. Either something's right or it's wrong.
yeah. I remember back during COVID, I got into an argument online with this lady, and she was calling me a plague rat. Right, because I refused to wear a mask. She was calling me a plague rat. She's saying these horrible things to me online. Then she sends me a personal message, right, a DM. I'm like, what the hell? I open it up, and she says, I actually really agree with you. I just think that maybe if we just go along, this will end. They'll just let us out of it.
Which is exactly the opposite of what would happen.
Yeah, 100%.
They would double down.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'd make it worse. They'd put in more restrictions, you know what I mean? We'd probably still be under them to this day.
Yeah.
Probably would have made travel restrictions, you know what I mean, which they were trying to do.
And I almost think that a part of me almost thinks that, I'm not talking conspiracy theories or maybe it is a conspiracy theory, but a lot of conspiracy theories have come through.
Yeah, come true in the past while, that's for sure.
I almost think that COVID was a test.
A test run, that's what I said, dude.
It was to see how much control they could get.
Maybe, big fucking maybe that it wasn't intentional that it got let out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even willing to say that. Like, it's... people want to think that nobody would do that.
Mm-hmm.
I completely disagree.
Yeah.
I don't think the people that are in the higher ups, they don't give a shit about that kind of stuff. They would absolutely let something like that go on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just to let it see what happened, you know what I mean? And then they run that as a test afterwards. But say it did escape on its own, by accident. Don't never let a good emergency go to waste.
Nope.
Right? Now is their chance. They're like, hey, we've been waiting on this. Let's see how far we can push them until there's pushback.
There's even like documented areas of people saying, we can use this to implement our programs.
In our military. The Canadian military did it.
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah, they
the
used
propaganda shit.
The propaganda shit. Yeah, they used it as an opportunity to test their propaganda on their own citizens.
Exactly, and it worked.
Yeah.
On a lot of them.
Yep. It did.
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah, that was when I learned that too. That was pretty disheartening because I'm super pro police, pro military.
Yeah.
But when you're using it on your own citizens like that, I'm not a fan.
No. No.
Yeah, and they were trying to do it to the masses, and I to what extent? Like, I honestly think that the trucker protest had such a huge impact from stopping it where it was in its tracks.
Yeah.
Because they were like moving full steam ahead until that happened.
Yeah.
And then like literally as the truckers were still down there, he came out and they said that they were going to cut the travel restrictions and stuff, the vaccine passports, they weren't going to do it and stuff. And that but he said it had nothing to do with the trucker convoy.
Yeah.
Even though they were still parked in front of Parliament.
No, I think it was just too much.
Yeah.
And they were cheering us on all across the world.
Yeah.
Right? We were the biggest front that went up.
Except for the left in Canada here.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, the people that, they were like, stupid truckers.
Yeah.
Stupid truckers.
I was thinking back to what we said earlier. You remember how we were talking about you don't really know what to call the left anymore because they're not the liberals anymore because they're not really liberals anymore. And I was doing a little bit of thinking on it there, and I thought to myself, now they've gotten really like, pro-patriotism and everything. It's kind of like they're almost like nationalist, and then they got some socialist in there.
Yeah,
they're kind of sort of acting like fascists too.
Exactly.
So I think that maybe that's what you could call them.
I think pretty clear. It's hilarious too because they don't even know what the definition is.
Yeah,
they call us fascists.
Yeah,
for being pro-freedom.
Yeah, it's completely wrong.
Yeah,
right?
it's entirely wrong.
It's exactly the opposite.
You are the fascists.
Yeah,
because you're censoring people. You don't want to listen to other people's beliefs. You're super pro-government, taking all of our rights away.
Yeah,
all that shit's fascism, man.
Yeah. So you heard it here first. Our government is the Nationalist Socialist Fascists, which, in case you didn't know, is there's a shorter version of that name. I believe it's Nazi.
Yeah, you probably heard it before.
Somewhere throughout history.
Schleifen Weiver! You heard of those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, eventually. I seen this hilarious clip the other day. Oh man, it's so funny. In Germany, they got these little because here in the States and in Canada, you go into a pharmacy or whatever, and they got shit that's locked up, right? Because people just steal stuff.
Yeah.
So you got to get somebody to get a key or whatever, right? But in this place, it was like in a supermarket or whatever, and to get into the milk, there's this little spot where you put your hand into, and it's you don't wave in front of it. You don't put your hand up like this. You have to put it in like this.
Yeah.
For the door to open, you have to do an aisle thing. It's oh my god. I was
man.
Is this a joke? And I looked, it's no, this is a real thing.
Yeah.
I was oh my god, man, who made that? Should have been it's probably not the best idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we shouldn't do that. Maybe we could be give it a voice recognition, door open, or give it just a handprint up there, or a wave motion activated, something. Have to literally do the fucking Heil signal in there to make it open up is insane, dude. Absolutely insane.
That's wild.
Oh my god, I haven't learned.
Yeah.
I haven't learned much of a lesson there.
Yeah.
Oh god. But yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty wild times, Nate.
And speaking of our military, I don't know if you've heard, I think the Canadian government has realized that they can't really get anybody strong fighting for us out of Canada here too, because now they've decided that they're going to start allowing people who don't live in Canada to join our military.
Mm-hmm. I know. I was rewatching that too. I was actually going to talk to my buddy about the military. And see what his thoughts are on that. Because there is, I don't know the comparison well enough. I might have talked to you about this, but there was the France Foreign Legions.
Yeah, the French Foreign Legion,
that they talk about. And they said that was a similar thing to what they're trying to do here. And I need to know if that's because I just don't know enough about it. Is that what they're trying to do, or are they just trying to like, we'll take anybody because we just can't get?
I kind of thought it was the "we'll take anybody" kind of thing.
Yeah, that's the vibe I was getting from it. I only seen that the comparison to the French Foreign Legions from comments on.
Because I know I watched a video on the French Foreign Legion, and so the way they work is like they're like a military outside of the military.
Yeah.
And I think they kind of go do the things the regular military doesn't really want to do, right? But in order to join the French Foreign Legion, it's actually a really cool thing. You'll see a lot in like older movies and stuff. People don't really talk about this anymore, but in older movies and stuff, somebody will join the Foreign Legion, kind of like their life is all messed up, and they'll just go join the Foreign Legion, right? That's kind of that's what you do when your life is going nowhere and you can't, like, you're done, something's happened and your life's over, and you just go join the Foreign Legion, right?
Yeah.
So the way it actually works is when you join the Foreign Legion, you go in front of their building in France and you knock on their door. And they let you in, and then they do some health things to see if you are healthy enough to be in the Foreign Legion, and then they hand you a name, and that's you now.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Right? That's you. Your old name is gone, and now you're just a member of the Foreign Legion. This is the new name. You don't even get to pick your name, right? Because everybody would be Colt Steele.
Yeah.
Right? I know I would. That's why you pick my name. That's what I'm going to be, Colt Steele.
It's a pretty flashy name.
Yeah.
You know.
But yeah, so they don't let you do that, but they give you a name. And that's who you are now. And you're in the Foreign Legion 3-4 years or something like that. And then as soon as you go through that, they give you your papers in your new name that they gave you, and that's who you are now. You're French, you get the passport, you're a French citizen. The old you is completely gone.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Right? So it's like, for those people who, something's happened and they've messed up so bad that their life can't go forward.
Yeah.
And they can just go join the Foreign Legion, and it's been romanticized a lot, right? But I'm sure it's not really all that cool. I'm sure you go in there and they're like, you're going to do some bad shit
Yeah.
to get this. But
yeah.
But yeah, so it's a way that people who have completely failed, or life has completely failed them, and I don't know, your wife died, your dog died, your kids died, and you got nothing left, and you just can't make yourself go on, just go join the Foreign Legion, or you killed somebody accidentally.
It's like fucking Game of Thrones when they got to take the black and go fight in the wall.
Yeah,
it's like that's what they do in that show, right? It's like somebody did something bad, the king will send him to the wall to protect him from the north, right?
Exactly, right.
It's like that's similar shit. It's like, hey, go up there, then we're not going to kill you.
Yeah,
but you can go up there, and if you want to go fight for us, fight up there,
and if
you can still live. And
and if you make it through 3-4 years, you're a French citizen, and you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, that's crazy,
right?
I don't know if that's what they're offering here.
I'm thinking that what they're offering here is I think they're going to do some recruitment outside of our country, in probably somewhere that's friendly to us, like, I don't know, China.
Yeah, India.
Yeah, and I think we're just going to have a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be funny if our military all of a sudden was the Chinese military? Like if we actually literally just bring in their soldiers here. Yeah. We're already allowing Chinese police stations in Canada.
I know, isn't that wild? I didn't know that. I watched some shit about that not that long ago. That's pretty crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah, where they're like going and grabbing their own citizens and that spoke out or have left the country and shit. They fled to Canada. Yeah. And then there's places here where there's like people actually looking for them and shit. They're kidnapping them and stuff. Yep. Wild stuff.
Yeah.
Wild stuff.
So we're allowed them to have police stations here. We're allowing them to interfere in our elections and our politics. We keep buying things off of them, like buses, and BC is just about to buy some ferries off them, spending a bunch of money because we're all pro-Canadian, but Canada costs a little bit too much to have a ship made, so we'll have those made in China. Exactly. I don't know if you heard. I think it was either Calgary or Edmonton bought a bunch of buses from a Chinese company. Mm-hmm. And they brought them over and they went through the programming and the computers on the buses and they found sorry about that, everybody. They found a back door in the programming on these buses so that the Chinese company that made them could go in and shut them down.
No, of course.
So if there was an incident where they were attacking our country, they could shut down our ability to move people around.
That's not surprising. Yeah. I've seen tons of shit like that, even with like going down to the basic stuff like Roombas. Like vacuums and shit that are like we're buying from them. Like they can actually listen in to your stuff at your house, see what you're listening to. Yeah. Craziness, dude. Like, what are we doing?
I remember hearing a story. This lady bought one of those digital picture frames, you know, that just changes the pictures.
Yeah.
And you hook it up to your phone and you transfer the pictures over, right? And so she noticed her phone was working weird, so she took it back to get it fixed, and they found out that the digital picture frame she had purchased had transferred some malware onto her phone, so that the person who put it on that digital picture frame could now use her phone as a listening and seeing device.
No way.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I mean, that's what we're getting out of China.
Yeah.
Right? I mean...
And we're willing to do that.
And we're willing to do that.
For a few extra bucks, right?
Yeah.
Give away everything. Give away the house just for that.
So, I mean, is there precedence that we don't, accidentally let some Chinese military into our military?
Yeah, they don't care.
Right?
They probably want it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure that's what they want, man, in Ottawa.
I mean, to tell you, this might sound brutal and kind of crazy and something, but how long does America let this go on before they decide that we're the enemy?
Well, that's what I was wondering earlier when they said that we're like offering safe harbor to the Iranian regime. It just seems like a bad idea. There's already some animosity building between us and the States that there never has been in the past. Like, this is all new since Trudeau basically started. And then even like the Liberals in the past, we never had this kind of animosity ever. Mm-hmm. And now they're going to war with Iran. We're going to bring Iranians over here. We're having these crazy protests in Toronto and stuff, like pro-Iranian protests. They were doing pro-Venezuela protests everywhere when they went into Venezuela. It's like... It just seems like a bad scenario waiting to happen, man. At some point, it's going to be like, okay, well, you know what? If you guys are bringing in all these terrorists now, I guess we got to go to the north and invade Canada now, too. Like, which would be a pretty swift operation.
I would think so.
Yeah.
I think that, I think that 90% of the small towns just across the border would be like American tanks. Come on.
Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah, here's a guy. Come here. Yeah, we're not going to fight you.
Yeah, no, we're joining up.
Yeah, for the most part, man. Yeah, there'd be some liberal outcasts there that would be, throwing their super venti lattes that they get from Starbucks at you. But for the most part, we don't got nothing to do. We don't got nothing to fight back with, so I don't think there would be much we could do. I don't want it to happen, P.S. I just like us start acting like adults. Yeah. And realizing bad is bad and don't let bad people here. Try to have an immigration policy where we can actually vet some people, not just an open app, where it's just there's no human interaction, because that's what Canada has right now. There's no open interaction. They don't ever have to see anybody. Mm-hmm. They do it all through an app and they just get let in. It's absolutely asinine. It is. Like, it's crazy, and we're expecting good things to come of this. Yeah, this is going to be beneficial to us somehow. Because nobody is ever up to no good, Nate. Oh, yeah, for sure. That. Everybody's just a stand-up human being. There's no bad people in the world. That doesn't exist in the eyes of the left. There's no such thing, unless you're just somebody who likes their country, then you're a piece of shit. Yeah. But, anybody else, though, you can come in from anywhere. There's no bad people anywhere else in the world except for here in Canada. People who like Canada, they're bad. But
just single white male Canadians.
Yeah. That's good. Can't have them around.
Can't have them around. Yeah. If we keep allowing people in without vetting them, we're going to get the kind of people we don't want. And we've already gotten to the point where no longer, when there's an attack on somebody, we don't even say what country they're from anymore. We just call them Asians. Super sad. We call them something Asians. Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, everybody's thinking Chinese, Japanese. No, they're Middle Eastern. That's but they're calling them Asians.
A lot of times they won't even say anything for weeks.
Yeah.
Sometimes months. You won't even hear. People will be looking into it, right? And they'll be like, right away when you're watching the news. Because if it's a normal, like a born and bred Canadian, they'll tell you that right off the bat. Yeah. If they don't say the name, it's somebody from out of town, out of country. Yeah,
it's either got the wrong skin number or it's
pretty wild, and that you can call it ahead of time. You're like, oh, clearly, and then you wait for the facts to come out, and sure enough, that's what usually happens. Yep. Is that it's somebody that went against the news's narrative, the media's narrative, so they didn't want to publish it, right? Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty sad. Pretty sad.
Yeah. And I mean, if you're to look at all this that we've talked about tonight, and if you're to look at it from just like try to look at it with a little bit of common sense and maybe see it from the point of view from people who are seeing things that we're seeing, how could you go through all that and decide that is something that is tenable for the rest of your life or for your family or for the good of your loved ones?
Yeah, how is it beneficial?
Right?
any of it. You know what I mean? Like we said earlier too, I'm an empathetic guy. I have a lot of empathy for people in general. I hate seeing people sad and upset. I hate seeing people get hurt. Mm-hmm. But there's got to be rules. There's got to be laws. We can't. Not everybody's good.
No.
Not everybody is good. There is bad people out there willing to do bad things to people, whether they're here in our own country already or they're coming from elsewhere. There's just bad people. That's why we have laws. That's why we have rules. You can't treat everybody with kid gloves all the time and worry about every individual's feeling is more important than the collective of the whole country. That's just not. It can't act like that. You can't work like that. That's got to be outside of the realm where it's hey, we all got to agree on something. That's why unity, diversity, is important. Intellectual diversity is very important. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to cultural diversity, that's all good. But he's we need to have something that unifies us.
Yeah.
There needs to be some unifying factor that we can all, that holds us together as a country, that can help us, that we all look to. It's okay, we're all different in these, but we're all Canadian. That's what it used to be, right?
Yeah.
It's we all moved here. People moved here from other countries. They all have different religions, whatever, but they're proud to be Canadian.
Yeah.
Now that's not a thing. People don't come here to be Canadian, right? They come here to take advantage of our country and then go back to wherever they came from. And they're chanting death to Canada right on the streets. And it's what's the unifying factor that's holding us together that's going to make us better as a country? That's what I want to find out, because it's if we don't have that, we don't have anything.
No.
We have lawlessness, man. That's what we have.
And that's, I think, you were talking about earlier, when you go back to when you were a kid, you didn't know what anybody voted, right? You didn't know what anybody was. Politics were something, you went and you voted, and your politics were your politics, and nobody cared.
Exactly.
Nobody judged you on it. But, we've reached a point now where back then we had community and unity holding us together, right? Mm-hmm. As a people. And it didn't matter how you voted. You had that. You had your sense of community and working towards the good of the collective. And that glue's gone.
Yeah.
That glue that held us back together then is gone.
Yeah.
And, there's a lot of us that really want it to not be that way. We don't want what's going on to be going on in this world. We don't want my greatest dream is that we finally have a country that is free and has common sense and allows people to live their lives, and basically a lot less government and a lot more freedom, but structure and rule and morality and goodness. If I could have a Canada with that, that's my dream come true.
Exactly.
That is my dream come true. I just don't see that as a
not
possibility anymore.
No, man, it's certainly not moving. The needle is so far in the other direction from that. It's very hard to see that ever coming back, man. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I just don't see it being a realistic possibility anymore either. And that's pretty sad.
Yeah.
That's the case. But what would have to happen for that to go? Because even, say we get a conservative government, is that going to do it? I honestly doubt it.
I don't think so.
I really doubt it. It's the world itself is. It seems like we're in an alternate reality, man. Honestly, it just does. It just doesn't seem how we can be so divided on such simple things. It's when you start getting more in depth, it doesn't make. It's there's no chance of us getting on even ground. If we can't decide on basic biological differences between people, or we can't, decide what's good and what's wrong in the world, what's right and what's wrong, the moral right and wrong. If we're so divided on those things, how is there ever a chance for unity? I just can't see it. I can't see how it. We need, the only way I can see it is if somehow, because we can have those differences, okay? Mm-hmm. We were just saying, but there needs to be something that binds us, and that needs to be the country. It needs to be love for your country. At the very least, you have to have love for the place you live. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You have to have that. If you don't have that, we literally have nothing in common with anybody. Yeah. There's no point in it. It's that's what holds people together, man. As people want to rag on the States, they have that at least, man. They have love for their country. Most of them, you know what I mean? They have a lot of love for their country.
I love it when you go down to America and you hit Main Street in Eureka, Montana. We're 20 minutes away from America here. You hit Main Street in Eureka and there's a American flag hanging off every single
Yeah.
Of every single store downtown, and there's banners, and they love their country so much, and we have spent so much of the last 10-15 years being told to not even fly a flag. Like, we're not supposed to love our country until the country's falling apart. Then all of a sudden they're like, you don't love the country, we do.
That's right. Yeah, elbows up.
Yeah.
You know.
And how much of that can a guy take before he, if your choice is destitution and just a horrible life, or you become part of another country that works towards what your ideal is, when that choice is put before you, how can you call somebody a traitor for wanting to do what's best for them and their loved ones?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty hard. It doesn't make, well, it's a big contradiction too, because they've been against it this whole time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And all of a sudden now it's important to them, so now we need to pay attention to what they're saying, because it's important to them now. It wasn't important to them when we all wanted it to be like that. It didn't matter. You know, we wanted them to care about the country. It didn't matter. But now, because it's affecting them in a way, because the government tells them it is, then we need to be pro-Canadian.
Yeah.
Well, we've been pro-Canadian our whole lives.
Our whole lives.
You know, nobody's not pro-Canadian. I'm pro-realistic. You know, like, I want realistic talk. I don't want this fantasy nonsense. There's no utopia here. It's not real. Okay? Nobody's good all the time. None of this nonsense. I don't want to hear it. I want people to be held responsible for their own actions. I want a government to be held accountable. I want governments to quit being so clearly corrupt. The insider trading, all that. There should be nobody making a government salary who's worth over $100 million in a few years.
Yeah.
Trudeau, you know, or all the people in the States too. Huge insider trading all the time in the States. We have it all the time here too. It's so obvious, so out in the open, and we're all just like turn the blinders on, act like it's not happening. You know what I mean? We could put a stop to that. Us, the people. We could put a stop to it tomorrow if everybody was like, I'm fed up with this. This is completely unacceptable. We need term limits. We need these people to be audited, held accountable. You know, they shouldn't be able to be trading stocks that they're involved in. You know, they can put money into RSPs like everybody else, do whatever their own thing, but they don't get to buy stocks when they're the ones making the decisions on things. That's just not right.
Yeah.
Everybody should agree on that. There's simple things like that I think would bring back trust in the government. You know, if they were actually held accountable, if people see that the government is held, if people got thrown in jail for doing bad shit, if they were in the government, people would have a lot more trust in the government. They'd be like, hey, you know, you go up there, take the job, but you better do it right. Because there is consequences. Just like every other human being in the country has consequences if they break the law. Yeah. It should not be any different for people in our government. And clearly Trudeau got away with
a lot.
So much. It was like he should be in jail for 100%. Nobody can deny that he should be in jail for all the shit that he did. You know what I mean? But here he is walking around dating Katy Perry. Yeah. Things are all golden for him. Never laughing. Not a care in the world. Yeah. And it's disgusting. It's like there needs to be accountability. And I want that on both sides. I want any conservatives who break the law, I want them to be tossed in jail. Any liberals who break the law in there, I want them to be tossed in jail. Yeah. You know, there needs to be that. If there's not that, it's just lawlessness in the government. It's just a free-for-all too. That's when you get all that craziness where they're sending money to companies where nobody's even working at the company and they're all taking a cut of it, like all that crazy shit that happened with the WE scandal and all that nonsense, right? Like that's all real stuff that happened and just blinders. Nobody wanted to talk about it. Let's move on to the next thing, you know what I mean? And it's like we just let that go on as people, and that's up to us. We're just too easily distracted because the media machine and the propaganda machine is so big now. It's so all-encompassing our whole lives. It's on your phone all the time. It's there. The news, the United States. There's always some new scandal going on, something to scare you. Like I said earlier, that's the easiest way for them to get control of you is to keep you scared. Yep. And that's what they do. They're really good at keeping you scared. And
they also use it in such a way that, you know, as soon as there is something that you do care about, something else happens to pull your attention away from it. You know, so
sleight of hand, man.
Canada's so fucking good at that. Yeah. Canada is like a propaganda machine now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they got it nailed down the last 15 years.
With the only media sources we have are paid for by the government. We don't allow any other other online places to put out Canadian content without paying a huge amount for it, so they're not putting it up.
Yeah, and independent media is almost non-existent.
Yeah.
We have like a couple of people there, Rebel News and whatnot, right? But they don't get any actual publicity or even allowed into a lot of events. They get talked to like they're white supremacists, even for thinking, trying to look at a different point of view. They're not even allowed to do that, right? It's pretty sad. Like our country's in a tough spot there, but
It is in a tough spot.
yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
Got any final thoughts on today's messages? You think they're neat or what?
Well, I think we covered a lot today, and I think we had a lot. Unfortunately, today I think we had a lot of bad things to cover.
Yeah, there's been quite a bit of stuff that's happened though since our last podcast.
That is a true story.
You know, it's been a long time, and a lot of craziness has happened. So I don't know. It is kind of shitty to leave you all on the negative Nancy little train there, but there hasn't been a lot of positive stuff to talk about lately.
No.
You know.
I think I think we do have a couple positive things going. I think, like I said, I think we've what Danielle Smith is doing in Alberta is pretty positive.
Yeah,
I absolutely love that woman.
Yeah,
absolutely love that woman.
You do.
I think I know recently, I don't know if you heard this, but a liberal woman from the States moved down to Canada because it's a liberal utopia here. And she discovered that rent was really expensive. Now she's all over TikTok and she's begging her friends back in America for money because she can't afford to pay her rent.
Yeah, I did see that.
So, that kind of brought a smile on my face.
Yeah, well, they realize that it's not golden over here. And once you actually get here, right, you're like, holy Moses. Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to say we've had some pretty serious topics today, you know. In the end, I'd like to say, like, empathy super important to me. That's something that gets thrown around that the conservatives, they don't have any empathy, right? And I think that empathy is super important, and I 100% do have it. We just treat it a different way. Like, I have empathy for people, and I want things to get fixed the correct way. You know, I want people to get taken seriously. I don't want to lead into people's delusions or into anything else that's going to make their situation worse or make our country worse. And I think that that's kind of what's happened in our country. You know, I just think we need to take an honest look at people, you know, tell people the truth. When you're, just because the majority of the people are doing something, even though if you know it's wrong, you don't need to follow along just because the majority is doing it. You know, if your moral compass tells you something, it's probably a good idea to listen to it. You know what I mean? You got that little voice in your head telling you, hey, this don't seem right, something's fishy. Something's probably fishy, you know? And you don't have to follow along just because everybody else wants to follow along. And some of the most important things in history happened because somebody was like, you know what, I don't think this doesn't seem right. Something's wrong here. And they spoke up. You can change the world that way. Yeah. So I think that's pretty important. But yeah, I don't know. Look out for your fellow neighbors. Let's all try to unify a little bit. I think it's a big one too. You know? We're all here in Canada. People in Canada who are watching, whether you like the right or the left, it don't matter. I like both on a lot of things. I'm not one or the other, but what I do want is us all to love each other because we're all Canadian. Look out for each other in Canada too. You know, just because I like one premier, you like another premier, you like one party, it doesn't mean we're enemies. We're all Canadian. Let's look at that and be like pumped with each other because of that. Now the sweet land we got all these things here. We got mountains, beautiful lakes, most water, clean water. We got so many awesome things, amazing wildlife here. Let's look at it and, you know, appreciate it for what it is, but don't hate on each other so much just because you like a different human being than another person likes. That's no reason to be hating on each other so much, you know what I mean? That's my 2 cents about it today, I think. Let's leave it with that for me. What do you got to say, Nate? You got anything else you got to add?
You know, I want to tell you, Donovan, I really like your outlook there. I think I think you're really right. I think you hit the nail on the head on that. You know, I think we're in a pretty dark time right now, and unfortunately, because of that, that's mostly what we've talked about today. I think though that you know, sometimes the dark is a storm that's coming at you, and sometimes you just got to fight your way through the storm, and there's something good on the other side. At least there very well can be. And I think if we all followed Donnie's advice there and we follow our morals and we just step up when we see something wrong and we do what we can about it and we make sure to let's just do our best to like Donovan says, let's come together. Let's, come together around our differences. Come together on the things that we have in common, and unify a little bit, and stop letting. We got to stop letting this anti everything sentiment that's around us dictate what we're doing with our lives, and we got to start letting what's good for us dictate what we do with our lives. And I think if we just work to make the place a little better, work to make yourself a little better. Do your best to make yourself the best person you can, follow your morals, be as strong as you can. And if we can just go out and do that and do the best we can in the world and try to make something positive out of all this darkness that's around us, we can be that light. I think if enough of us do it, we're a light in that darkness, and we can really stem the tide.
Yeah, you don't know your little action can, inspire somebody else to do something too.
100%.
So they see you doing something good, maybe they'll go do something good too, and that's huge, and I think that's what we need to do more of for sure. Encourage each other to do better. Yeah. Not be hating on each other just because you're doing something different, but encourage each other to do better and just be kinder to each other. That's all. Unite. Yeah.
I think that's how we fight this battle. We fight the bad that's around us by doing good things.
100%. Yeah.
And I think if we do that, we got a chance.
Yeah, I agree. I agree, gang.
Yeah.
Sound good, Navy?
Sounds good to me.
Right on. Well, we'll be hammering out some more podcasts to you guys now. Hopefully the sound's a little bit better. We got some new equipment there, and I think we got out all the back noise that was in there and stuff. So hopefully the next podcast will be a little brighter even too. We'll have some better news to share with you.
Yeah.
And just keep looking for the positive stuff there, guys. You guys have yourselves a good night. We'll chat to you later.
Sounds good. You guys take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Help your fellow man up, and let's do the best we can. Right? Love you guys.
Peace.